Well, it's time to touch grass now here on Who's Views with a headline special as JT and the Whotastic panel launch their brand new series. Are you ready for this? It's RTD's Disney Who 2.
Are you ready for this, Who viewers? Tomorrow, yes indeed, have you heard? The alleged Doctor Who is back. Welcome everybody to Who's Views. It is the big show. It's headlines on a Friday. It's Friday, the 11th of April, 2025. You are very welcome. It has just gone 8 o'clock here in the UK. How are you all? Feel like it's been ages since I've seen you. But it hasn't been really. We have a massive big headline show for you tonight because as well as just being headlines, of course, this is the launch of our new series dealing with the new series of what we call Doctor Who. It's all going to be fun. We've got a lot of nonsense crammed in for you tonight as well, all the usual stuff. But firstly, have you heard? As we're saying, Doctor Who allegedly returns tomorrow night on BBC One, BBC iPlayer, and in the rest of the world on Disney Plus. RTD has said something he possibly shouldn't have done. We're going to be looking at that in the next few minutes. And the previews are in. We're going to be looking at some of those as well. And I can tell you, they're not all that good. They're not all exciting and vibrant. Oh, no, they're not. But see what you make of it through this edition as well. Let's bring on the guys. I have Paul and I've got Third Doctor Ian. Now, Third Doctor Ian, you have had, since Wednesday's show, an awful lot of messages and emails coming into us with a lot of concerned Who viewers about you. Are you okay?
I am, thank you. It was just a bit of a bug, got on my chest, coffee and all that stuff. Sinuses, headache, nose, teeth, what? Teeth aching. I mean, honestly. And it prevented sleep for 2 or 3 nights, but last night got some sleep. It's definitely on its way out. Feel a lot better. And some glorious sunny North Yorkshire weather, which you only get in North Yorkshire. York and North Yorkshire, sunny weather. And John agrees with me on the thing. It's certainly helped. But thank you for all the messages. I really appreciate it. Very kind, very touched. A bit emotional.
If you don't get too emotional, because we've got to get through the next 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Man up. I'd like to say a huge thank you to everybody that has been getting in touch with us all week. You can, of course, get in touch with us at that email address down there, whosviews1@gmail.com, whosviews1@gmail.com. A lot of you have been over the last few days, and thank you for all your comments about the 2 headline shows we did last week and our Wednesday headline show, in which we speculated that Ncuti Gatwa has already left Doctor Who. I'm sure we're going to be coming back to that very, very shortly. Paul's already waving. But as usual, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone that has been in touch this week. I want to say thank you to the Thing King, to Bill Lowry, to Stephen Braddock, to Colin Smith, to Eddie J. Riley, to Sarah Pleasance, to Glenn Piper, to Mark Wright, to Mark Jones, to Carl Goddard, to John Mason, to Philip Tosin, to Lance Uppercut 3498, to Thorough Moyd, to Meddling Funk, to Steve Thompson, to Sharda Knox, to Rob Alexander, to Jan Davis, to Carl Alini, to Scott Enigma, Russell Fagan, and a huge shout out to Ian Booth as well. So thank you very much, everybody, for getting in touch. Wow, isn't it fabulous, everybody?
Lovely.
Because this is the launch of our new series, which starts on Sunday, of Who's Views Reviews, where we are going to be looking at all these 8 episodes, God help us, in what is going to be, and I'm going to put it out there, the last series of Doctor Who for some time. Coming to that very shortly. Hold on, don't go anywhere.
A generation by accounts, yeah.
By possibly could be. You never know. But tonight, because we're going to be talking about all sorts of things, including your favourites, we're going to be looking at the ratings and doing the ratings game. We've got somebody that knows all about that joining us. So let's bring them on. We've got the Time Lord Victorious himself, it's Emilio, and we've got Bedweir. Hello, you two.
Good evening.
Evening, chaps.
Welcome to Headlines, you two. Are you ready for a big show?
100%.
Absolutely.
Good, because I am pleased. And we're going to come to you all in the chat very, very soon. But I just want to start off with actually some housekeeping, as we used to call it in training. And I'm so glad that we can start this new series with some great news because, Who's Views family news Should have had a graphic for that, actually. Everybody should know. Whose views? Family news. Yes, part of the family. Of course, we're going to have to shout out, as we did on Wednesday, congratulations to the lady of the chat herself who tied the knot yesterday to Kirsty. Well done, Kirsty.
Yay.
Here she is, everybody, with Mr. Kirsty, who's also known as Costas. And isn't she looking stunning? I mean, Costas, you're looking very, very handsome yourself, but Kirsty, you look absolutely gorgeous, darling.
Lovely,
Look at that.
lovely.
Vest.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Doesn't she look great?
Yeah.
And they had beautiful weather as well, gentlemen, yesterday.
Yeah, great weather. Yeah.
But there she is, everybody. The lady of the chat. She got married yesterday. Isn't she looking gorgeous?
Very
I'm
nice.
so glad we got that picture. Honestly.
Costa's looking pretty damn sharp.
Yeah,
Really?
dapper, definitely. Yeah.
She'd hope so on his wedding day, I have to say. I don't like this word, Frankie. It brings back memories.
Oh, right, yeah, fam. No.
Oh, it's triggering. It's triggering.
We've got. I'm going to put some of these messages up from Matt the Silent with Music, and we've got good for Kirsty. What else? Oh, John Mason is congrats, pet. Oh, a bit of Vera there. Congratulations from Stephen Braga as well. What else? Lots of you saying that. Yeah, John Roberts is saying that's a fab photo of Kirsty and the hubby. Yeah. She changed her name today as well, and I was like, "Who's that?" We know when it comes through when you're having your coffee in the morning. Who's that? Kirsty.
Yeah. It's a great name in a game of Scrabble. I'll give you that, definitely. Yeah.
It will be. Yeah. It'll also look good on billboards because they won't spell it right at any given time, will they? Legion of James is saying she looks gorgeous, and he's a bit of all right as well. Just get back in that. Sit down, you. Sit down. Honestly, you can't go anywhere, can we? Paul Stenford, huge congratulations, Kirsty. You look lovely. What have we got here? Congratulations to the happy couple from Farsight. Oh, look, Andy Gladhill as well. Congratulations, Kirsty and the hubby. And Domgo is giving lots of bells there for Kirsty. Isn't that lovely? Tim Kintz, nice to see you, mate. Happy news indeed. Many congratulations. Mark Jones, Kirsty married. Listen to the sound of broken hearts in the chat. Oh, you big saps. And we've got Graham saying, oh, that's a lovely pic. So happy for you both, Kirsty and Costas. Yeah, Paul, PTA, Paul Thomas Ashworth. This is lovely. This is all for you, Kirsty. Congratulations, Kirsty. You look amazing. John was saying they look like a lovely couple. They are, aren't they, guys? They are. Together. They really are. Coel Rose is saying, oh, congratulations, Kirsty, looking beautiful. And here's Java Bean Studios. Good morning to you. Good to see you. And congratulations to Kirsty. The Nate channel as well. Gosh, it's going. We could just spend about 3 hours saying, oh, congratulations to everybody.
Yeah, we've got time for anything else, do you think?
I know, yeah. But it's lovely to see it. I love it all. Thank you very much, everybody, for this. It's great. So, yes, there we go. Paul Roach has just joined us as well with a little heart there as well. So to our girl, to the lady of the chat, also from Jodie as well, who can't join us tonight. She sends all the best to you as well, Kirsty. Right. So now listen, staying with the Who's News, Who's Views news here on the channel and news of our own as well. We've got some more happy news from one of our own. Let's everybody look at Emilio. And what have you got to tell us, young man?
I've got a baby on the way, which is very exciting.
Oh, fantastic. Oh,
Thank you.
That's right.
Our newest TV subscriber.
Do you know what's causing it? Any idea?
No idea, no. Don't know how it happened, Paul.
Okay, good.
That's right. Isn't that lovely news as well? Emilio and Mrs. Emilio are both expecting a baby. Congratulations, huge congratulations from all of us. And in typical Blue Peter style, Whose Views will be there every step of the way, invading all privacy for access to you guys here on the channel. Yes, we may even be in recording at the birth. And thanks to Emilio and Mrs. Emilio, I can tell you, please meet our newest Whose Views member.
Oh,
it's a little baby, everybody.
I thought you were going to say, here's one we made earlier.
Yeah.
That wasn't me, that was them.
I can see the likeness, Emilio. Yes, very you. Yeah.
But there we go. Isn't it great to start the show
Brilliant.
with some nice news, everybody, because hold on, it's not going to stay as we get through these.
It's downhill from here.
Steve Hindley is saying, Emilio, that's great news. Graham is saying, whoop, congratulations, Emilio, as well. It's nice to have some nice stuff at the start, isn't it, Duncan, the Funky Evans?
Yeah,
Paul Centerford is saying, that's great news, Emilio. Congratulations. Stephen Braddock is saying the same thing to you, mate, to you and the missus. Legion of James as well, waving to you there. John Mason is saying, yay, well done, pal. And Emilio's got, look at this, Emilio with little baby dummies there, or bottles for Dongo. Gosh, you can get these little graphics for absolutely everything now, can't you?
Yeah.
There are emojis for everything, but I don't know what they all mean, so be very, very careful. That's going to be very difficult, yeah. So.
Okay, well, we will have a time top Victoria, says Tim Kins.
I like that.
Yeah, I was thinking as well there, Tim Kins. What I was thinking is that I foresee now on the Who's View shop a range of baby clothes coming and things like that.
Very exciting. Who view baby glow, J2? That would be great. Amazing. Bring the baby
Start
on.
them young in front of the television. That's what you need to do.
Yeah. And Hugh Janus is saying to us here, for God's sake, don't name it Shooty.
You can be, don't worry, Shooty, you can be guaranteed it's definitely not going to be Shooty. That's for sure.
Oh.
One thing that will be guaranteed is Shooty will be doing more crying this year than the baby will. That's a guarantee.
Well, you hope. You hope. I don't know.
True.
We are going to be doing the crying game later on in this particular show, you know, so call the child River, mate, says Frankie. Yeah, and yeah, it is great news to start. We had some great news there. And Emilio, show your child the classic series first.
Spearheads in Space. That's the first one they're watching. Yeah. That is what I'm going to do.
How to traumatize your child. That's very good. Yeah. I'm calling social services.
You'll never go near a shop again. Very smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, should I start off with Space Baby? What do you think, guys?
Definitely.
That should have had a trigger warning. Oh, I'm still traumatized now. What else we got? And yeah, also from you guys out there, Andy Gledhill's just shared some news. I was a granddad again on the 1st of April, the 5th grandchild. Well, congratulations, 5 of them. Well done, Francie. 5 of them. God. That's fantastic news. But yeah, isn't it lovely, everybody, to start the show off? There is lots and lots of congratulations for you two, Emilio and Mrs. Emilio.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
They're all there. You can go back and look.
What a great community.
It is. It's lovely. They're all
It really
fabulous.
is. Yeah, it really is. Family.
Happy days are here again, says Arthur Daniels. Aren't they just? Yes, aren't they just? It's been a gorgeous day here in the UK when it comes to the weather. Rose Kirby's also with us as well, saying congrats, Emilio, best wishes, and so is Julianne. Congratulations, Emilio. Enjoy your sleep while you can.
Thank you, guys.
Right, so let's crack on then. After that fantastic news, let's talk about Doctor Who.
Do we have to?
And we're going to start with as well on Wednesday's show. Again, thank you so much for all the support Wednesday's show has had. A lot of you commenting and sending emails about the show, because in Wednesday's show, of course, we speculated on Ncuti Gatwa and Virada Setu's appearance, if you like, on the BBC One, Radio 1 breakfast show, where, as he got excited about playing with a toy sonic screwdriver from Character Options, Ncuti talked, as he does when he gets excited. And he says in the interview that the toy is better than the ones he had on set, including the one that the production team gifted him. Now, as we all know as Doctor Who fans, that is now a tradition for the departing lead actor to have his sonic screwdriver go with him, so they don't have to use the prop again or something like that. It's actually quite a cheap present, to be quite honest, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, they do have a few of them floating around, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know they put the sound effects on afterwards? Did you know that? Yeah.
Do they,
Paul?
Apparently,
so. Yeah.
They do that? That's outrageous. Well,
Never
anyway,
met a sound recordist, does he?
they all end up working for a certain audio company. But what happens after that is, of course, yeah, we were speculating he's gone. And it does seem a bit likely, because did you see the news today, Who viewers? Because according to the stage, Ncuti Gatwa is to star in the Royal Shakespeare Company's Shakespeare versus Marlow drama. Ncuti Gatwa, and Edward Blumel is portray Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare in the West End premiere of Born with Teeth at Wyndham's Theatre. Now, this is a significant run at the end of the summer, which means that if he was called back, he couldn't be. So this actually means that if there is any Doctor Who going back into production this year, everybody, it's not got Gatwa in it.
They're not going to get a Christmas special in, are they?
No.
No.
Something we've been saying on this show for quite a long time now, since the last Christmas special, probably.
But there's people all over Facebook groups, JT, saying that he's ready to film his third series and he signed his contract and everything. They can't be wrong.
I know.
And Disney's still on board apparently as well.
Yeah. These are the people that I'm very concerned about. As you know, I've been talking about them. Don't forget, we will be running a very expensive by-the-minute helpline for you all out there when this news actually does break officially, because, of course, we're going to be coming to the RTD news in a minute. But I do actually, on your point there, Third Doctor Ian, there are some of them out there. Now, I'm not going to mention their names because I'm going to be nice. Yes, I know it's not like me. But I'm not going to mention their names because they must be embarrassed enough, quite frankly, in their day-to-day lives. But there is this one from a Doctor Who fan. You'll all know them, I'm sure. I'm sure you've encountered them on social media at some point. But in relation to what we're going to be talking about with RTD and the Ncuti Gatwa revelation this morning, that he's going to do another show, how dare he? And let's talk about the fact he's playing Marlow in a second. This is just depressing, says this particular fan. It just does not sound positive. The more Russell talks, the more it seems likely a sort of hiatus is sadly coming. Season 2 needs to perform well to convince the BBC and Disney not to give up. It's such a huge part of my life. I am very worried. Do you see where I'm getting at here? Another one. The one thing I now know is that we've got to support Season 2 as much as possible, my lord. Oh, that's a drama queen. This one's saying, bros... I hate that term. Bro's talking about another hiatus. Why are we saying this shit ahead of a new series? Well, because it's true, my dear. That's what it's all about. And this one as well. This is what makes me nervous. In some sources, sometimes from the same person, you get Doctor Who is doing really well, but then at other times, a much bleaker picture is painted. It's frustrating. I just want Doctor Who to continue. Well, that's from the generation. That's all about them, of course. But yeah. I'm generally concerned about these people, Paul.
It's really sad. I mean, the decision's been made. You know, all this, we're waiting until after Season 2's broadcast to decide on a new season is nonsense. It really is. So they're really kind of never going to get what they're asking for because it's not going to happen. It's been done. The deal is done. He's gone. They're finished. Over.
We wanted it to continue in 1989. We didn't have social media or anything. And it didn't. And we had to live with it and we had to deal with it and we had to get on with life. And we managed it fine. But then a lot of them don't have things like spines these days or resilience.
Or lives, apparently, either.
Or lives, yeah. And it's it is sad and concerning. But, you know.
I know it's funny me saying that. We're on talking about Doctor Who on YouTube and we've got lives as well, obviously. Yeah. But,
yeah, exactly. But, I mean, I think we've got to brace ourselves for these people, some of whom have been absolutely nasty over the last few years to all of us. But we're going to have to sort of, just be wary that they might get even worse over the next few weeks, if they can possibly, because reality at some point will have to settle in with them. And I think this is part. Remember a few months ago, I was saying that if I was to break this news to them in a situation like this, I would do it bit by bit and drip by drip. And it looks like that's what they might be trying to do. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. As we said before, they're trying to save face, aren't they? They're trying to make it look like it's all been like this all along, and we're doing it just to save face and not look like we're really stupid and ruined a great show. You know, he keeps saying things like, a great idea will always come back, always live. It won't die. Well, if you strangle it, it will. Yeah.
We'll come to that in a second because we are going to be talking about that. So we'll come to that in a second. A lot of you are picking up on the fact that he's going into this play. Domgo is saying to us, does Marlow go around calling Shakespeare honey and babes? Well, very probably now. To be honest.
I mean, looking at the image you put up from that's been released by RSC, it looks a bit
homoerotic.
Looks a bit rogue, doesn't it?
Yeah. And this
would maybe be a different take.
Yeah.
Well,
The back.
I must admit, Bedouin, I saw that and I immediately thought the same thing, because what they've tried to do is clear up so much theatre now, and it's no wonder that normal, regular people with brains aren't going to the theatre anymore. You know, there's this thing going on at the moment, which was also broadcast at cinemas in the week, called Queens, which is a play based on the wives of Henry VIII, but they've made it all queer, so that they identify as
Oh, is
this.
that 6?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, sorry, 6. And it looks absolutely dire because of all this TQ cult language that's been into it, as if that was ever around in that particular time. And as if that, I think they're so desperate to get these marginalized minorities in, you know, especially from the TQ cult, to get bums. Like, they're not going to pay £75 for a bloody ticket.
There's also here, though, haven't they race swapped Marlow as well? Haven't they?
Marlow is played by Ncuti Gatwa.
Yeah, so I thought Marlow was white.
He was.
Yeah. Right.
And as Domgo was saying to us, is this Marlow in the Mavity timeline like the Indian Isaac Newton? Terrified Monk is saying about the whole thing about Doctor Who, it's a huge part of my life, but I want it to go. What else we got there? Bye Duggan, I mean Ncuti, says Stephen Braddock. Very good. I like that one. But yeah, I mean they've race swapped him, hasn't they? Because Christopher Marlowe was English, he was British, and he was white. And this is what theatre does now, isn't it? But as I keep saying, guys, I look forward to the day when a white guy is playing giants such as, you know, Nelson Mandela or Steve Biko or Martin Luther King, because that's never going to happen, is it? Malcolm X, it's never going to happen.
They would not cope with it. There'd be outrage. There'd be outrage.
Yeah. Can you imagine what would happen? It'd be absolutely ridiculous if they did. They're not going to do it. They're really not going to do it. Sheila B in the Devotions is with us saying, what's the latest news, chaps? So we've got lots of it coming up for you here, Sheila B, so stay with us. Glenn wants to know, hello Glenn, will there be an official announcement that Doctor Who is in hiatus, or will it just not be mentioned again? Is this the plan? I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. I'm not sure. I'll let the guys think about that before we answer that one as well. But yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing about this, it's done a lot for me today. It's made me absolutely believe, right, that's it. It's done. He's definitely done his golden rap. Oh, and here we go with all this nonsense as well from the arts. You know, the RSC, according to Timkins, also did the non-binary Joan of Arc. So it's a hellscape right now. That is true. They did Joan of Arc as a non-binary character. Apparently it's a huge flop, and quite right too. I mean, she was a woman, for Christ's sake. You know,
I'm just surprised he's got another job, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Paul, when you watch the clip, I've seen the clip. I saw it on Facebook. It popped up on my Facebook, and it literally, it's very sexually charged, and it's Ncuti Gatwa playing Ncuti Gatwa. Like honestly,
again,
again. So I think he hasn't got the acting range of a teaspoon, hasn't he? Really. So you know, he's only going to be able to play roles that are basically playing himself or as close to himself as possible. So, but yeah, I think if let's be honest, if he was a white guy or Caucasian guy, 100% he would not get even a job on Hollyoaks. Let's just be honest about it. So I think that's just it's unfortunate that that's the way it is.
They should bring El Dorado back. He'd fit in there quite well, I think.
El Dorado. El Dorado.
Wasn't Benidorm coming back?
Benidorm is coming back.
Quite good though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, maybe he's not good enough for Benidorm. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't see his what was it? The Importance of Being Earnest. That run he was in.
Yeah.
I think that was another one that was streamed into cinemas.
It was.
But so theatre producers are obviously targeting him as a biggish name that they think they can get bums on seats. Maybe the Doctor Who connection, but I'm not sure how well that did. I'm not sure how well this is going to do.
Yeah.
No, and to be quite honest, none of us are interested enough to even report it here on the show, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So good luck, Mr. Gatwa, in your new job. But it does look bad You know, I want to just take this from Lily Shambles. By the way, JT, there have always been people of all sexual orientations throughout history. They just didn't make such a fuss about it. Yeah, I mean, you know, absolutely. But what's happening today, Lily, as you know, is that it's a tick boxing exercise for them, and they are pushing it much, much more, aren't they, Lily? So it's just absolutely ridiculous what's happening now, and it's embarrassing because, you know, about 20 years ago and before. And I've said this on the show before, around about the turn of the century, I'm walking down the streets thinking, this is nice, this is good. People weren't seeing colour, they weren't seeing race, they weren't seeing religion, they weren't seeing sexuality, they were just seeing people. And it was a really nice time to be around. I thought, yeah, you had the odd problem, but nothing like today. And then suddenly all this DEI stuff came in, all this tick boxing, and people having guilt trips. You know, it's such a shame.
Just going on a tangent, there is a street in York, medieval street, called the Shambles, where a lot of the shops hang over, and you can almost, you know, shake hands. And they say it was an inspiration, or one of the inspirations for Diagonally.
Diagonally, yeah, and Harry Potter.
That's Victoria Street in Edinburgh. I'm just saying that now. Okay.
Well, if you look at the Shambles in York, but there was a shop on the Shambles in York called Lily Shambles. Just saying.
Oh.
But I saw Stephen Braddock's comment as well earlier, where he said Christopher Marlowe wasn't gay either, and I don't know. I'm not a Shakespeare expert. However, just throwing it in for interest, I think it was in the novel Empire of Glass, which was a Hartnell novel. Yeah. It featured Marlowe, who was acting, I think, as a spy on behalf of the king, and he was always trying to cop off with Stephen Taylor, our fearless space pilot.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah,
so it's not an original idea then either.
Not an original idea, no.
I like Stephen, but not that much, you know.
Well, there we go. So that sort of backs up what we were saying on Wednesday's show, still available on the playlist. Go back and have a look at it. Not now, but later on. A good show it was as well. That Gatwa has finished. He's had his golden wrap, and off he toddles into the sunset and a glittering, literally, career. So that's all going on there. Paul Stanford is saying to us, there are those who seem desperate to make Ncuti a big name. He certainly won't ever be renowned for his acting ability. Excuse me a second. Paul Stanford. Wow. And Daryl's with us. Hello, Daryl Joyce. How are you? I saw David Chatton's bottom once. It's well worth seeing. Oh, and then he
I've seen it as well. It was very good. Yeah, very shiny, but good.
Oh, dear. Yes.
No, well, it was very good, yeah.
I saw Phil Collinson's bottom once, but that was in Canal Street, and that's another story. But anyway, yes, we'll move on then, I think, everybody, from that. But it's great to see you all. We've got more stories coming up now, including everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel. Hands up. Which one of you's predicted this? Yes,
me.
Today. Oh, yes, here it is. A lot of you did. We were getting emails and comments and people in the chat and on various shows we were predicting, or you guys were all predicting. I didn't think they'd go that far, but of course. Yes, it was announced today by BBC Studios that Graham Norton has officially, after his first appearance 20 years ago, arrived in Doctor Who. And I'm sure you are all absolutely flabbergasted. The press release.
Is he doing some voiceover work, is he?
Well, no, there seems to be a lot more to it, because the press release says 12 points for Doctor Who. Graham Norton set for season 2 appearance. The Whoniverse welcomes the legendary Eurovision host in the wildest episode of season 2, calling all Eurovision fans.
Already?
Calling all Eurovision fans, this season of Doctor Who will follow the Doctor and Belinda as they travel to the 803rd Interstellar Song Contest, where planets from across the universe compete for the top prize. And along for the ride is the king of Eurovision himself, Graham Norton. Graham Norton joins the ensemble cast for the episode, which includes guest appearances from stars of stage and screen Freddie Fox, Rylan, Kadif Kawan and Charlie Condu.
Hold on a minute. How is Rylan a star of stage and screen? You can't describe him like that at all.
Has he done Panto?
Has he? Oh, it probably has. Yeah.
Stage and sunscreen, maybe.
Yeah, that was a great song in the 90s. Do you remember that? I used to love that song. Yeah. Anyway, RTD himself said, quote, There's no song contest without the great man himself, and it was an honour to welcome Graham Norton to our studios in Cardiff. And it's not just a cameo. He has a whole plot twist all to himself. This is the wildest episode of all, and we're lucky to have Graham adding to the mayhem. Then it goes on to say the Interstellar Song Contest, which features the appearance from Graham Norton, is the 6th episode of the upcoming season and was set to air on Saturday, the 17th of May. Now, bear in mind that might not happen. Remember, we were talking about the other guys? And it might not happen because of something called footy ball or something, isn't it?
Yeah, but this will be an easy one to count on the ratings, I'd imagine. Can
you imagine that, Bedouin? If we come on our ratings analysis and it said it got 0 views, that's Doctor Who history, isn't it?
It would be indeed. It's interesting, since watching your headline show where you brought this up, there's actually 2 episodes that are vulnerable, potentially to not being shown because of football. Episode 3 goes out on the evening that BBC One is showing the first of the FA Cup semi-finals. That has a 5:15 kickoff.
What's he talking about?
Already confirmed. And so if that runs over, into extra time penalties, it's Doctor Who episode 3 might be pushed to one side, depending on what else is in the schedule, because we're looking at, at least a 7 o'clock finish in normal time. So, it might not just be the final itself. That kickoff time hasn't been confirmed yet because we don't know the teams. What tends to happen is if it's, say, 2 London teams, then the FA will push for a later kickoff time, so like a 5:45 type kickoff time, because it means they get a larger audience for the TV broadcast. However, last year when it was 2 Manchester clubs, it was at 3 o'clock because fans are going to travel not just down but also back as well. So it will be interesting to see what happens.
It's not going to broadcast. Let's face it. They're not going to put it on. There's going to be too much going on because they've got that and then Eurovision. It's going to go. Listen, I'm predicting it now. It's going to be the footy ball thing, that thing there, and then it's going to be commentate, and then it's going to be la 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 with the Eurovision. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Doctor Who's not going to go look in.
Well, normally after the FA Cup final finishes, yes, Third Doctor here mentioned you have presentations, the trophies, the medals, and all that sort of stuff, and general interviews with the players on the pitch and afterwards, and all that common post-match stuff.
Analysis, I believe it's called. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's called. All right, there we go. No, it's the final. They don't care about at that point.
Yeah.
But then they normally have the 6 o'clock news or whatever time it is, the news, and Eurovision's got to start coverage at 8. There's no moving.
The BBC doesn't control that timing either because it's all of Europe watching allegedly at the same time. God.
No, and even that, I think in the last few years they've had like the pre-show or something on BBC 3 from 7 and stuff like that. So
starring Ryland.
Almost certainly. So it's going to be tight if they're going to fit, a 50-minute episode of Doctor Who, if it's going to be a late kickoff again. So it's going to be really interesting, and it would be absolutely hilarious if not 1 but maybe even 2 episodes aren't broadcast on BBC One and are only reliant on iPlayer views.
I was thinking about this recently, and I've just noticed that PTA has said they'll shelve it to BBC Two, and I was thinking, why don't they just move it to BBC Three? Because BBC Two will have its own schedule. BBC Three, you can do what you want with because nobody bothers to watch it there. And that's the thing. I think they won't put it to BBC Three, Doctor Who, as the first broadcast because nobody watches BBC Three. And I think that's when we would get over the overnights if they put it on 3, the reality of the figure that actually tune in as a loyal fan base. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's the danger of putting it on BBC Three.
Do they not repeat them anyway? Like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday morning in the signing zone for people who are deaf. They do all that.
They do. Yeah. But there's traditionally always been a Sunday repeat on BBC Three.
Right.
Now that BBC Three is back on an actual channel, on your Sky and Freeview box, so that'll happen anyway. But whether that'll be the first broadcast or not, I don't.
Yeah.
Again, it depends what's on BBC Two if they can shift something. But it would be quite ironic if if it didn't make it to air. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Again, the kickoff time of the finals really important. We don't know that yet. And the alternative is that actually, if you've got the FA Cup final, Doctor Who, then Eurovision, it might actually bump up the numbers in terms of the ratings, because we saw Boom last year. That had a slight uptick, because so the stories went that pubs left the TV on.
It's not gonna. It's honestly, I'm telling you, it's not gonna be on BBC One on that night. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
It might be, and I've been looking.
It's an hour episode. It's an hour. Also, as well, I've got some news for you as well, because it looks like it's not going at the same time. It's going to be tomorrow, because it says here on BBC One, and thank you to the Thing King for sending me this, Lux Season 2, Episode 2 of 8, 19th of April 2025, is to be broadcast at 7:15.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah.
So, there's no consistency. Again, it's either going to be before 7 or after 7. That's going to shake off the audience as well, isn't it, everybody? Because you've got to have it on at the same time. But as I keep saying, the British public no longer care about this. They're not going to follow it. They're not going to run around looking for this show. It's just not going to happen.
They should have just wiped the entire episode. It'd be much simpler, to be honest, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Straight to video.
Save time.
Listen, let's get into the chat and see what you're saying about Norton. Duncan, the Funky Emerson said, at least he can't spoil it this time. Want to bet? Yeah. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Well, he looks more like the Doctor in that picture you showed her than Ncuti does, I have to say. Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine? He's done light acting like Father Ted, says Tim King.
Yeah, he's very good.
Father Ted anymore. Yeah, well, we can mention it on this show. Yeah, Father Ted. Genius from Graham Linehan. Mark Greaves is saying, well, they're definitely making sure there's no further series, aren't they? With the casting of Norton. Hello and welcome to Who's Views from Fan YT here on YouTube. Nice to see you, Fan YT. Can you imagine Mr. Gatwa listening to what you have to say about his acting ability? We only have one life. Please be kind. No, it won't be. We'll move on. Stephen,
tuning in. Hi, Ncuti. Hi, if you're watching.
We are kind, really. It could be so much worse.
Yeah. Listen, I'll tell you something. Who was that again? Fan YT. He's not the one. Here's the one, rather, that told millions of fans to go touch grass. And he's also been the one that's been racist while he's been filming Doctor Who by screaming that people are going to have a fit by him and Virada Setu being the lead characters. He's racist. I generally think he's a nasty person. So no, I'm not going to be kind to him. And if I ever met him, I'd tell him that to his face. I'm not frightened of him. He's a spoiled brat. Stephen Braddock is saying to us, how the actual feck can Graham Norton be on the 806 song contest? He is older than even he looks. Well, it's called plastic surgery. And thanks to Cher's pioneering efforts, I think everybody's going to be able to do it at some point.
He'll be a robot or something, won't he? He's bound to be. Yeah,
It's bound to be that thing. Like Amelia was saying in one of our shows where we were talking about this. You were saying about the first series and how they brought in the people there and like
the android and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We've got Sheila B in the devotion saying, I saw a bottle of wine called Graham Norton yesterday. Well, yeah, they're all doing it now. They've all got their own.
It was probably vinegar.
Yeah, they've all got it, haven't they? Kylie's got them, and it's just extra money, isn't it? Frankie is saying to us, Graham being the Irish entry singing My Lovely Horse with Father Dougal. That was a great episode, that wasn't it, really? A lot of you talking about this tonight, so thank you very much. Is this stunt casting? JNT stunt casting, anyone, says Duncan. Yeah, trying to make it look as much as they can as the proper show.
It's funny how
Ryland was this season's Ken Dodd. It must be the teeth. Must be.
Yeah.
It was in the Eurovision film with Will Ferrell, wasn't he? He was in that, which was actually quite good. That wasn't a bad film, actually.
It wasn't a bad film, but it was very tentative because they were trying desperately to make sure they didn't offend anybody.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Emilio?
I was just going to say it's funny how they Doctor Who decided to promote and market Graham Norton just before the new series. It's almost like they're clutching at jaw, thinking that Graham Norton's suddenly going to attract more viewers to them because people love Graham Norton. I mean, I think they really are just in desperation mode to try and get as many viewers as possible.
Do you think?
Straws? Yeah.
Do you think that this little subtext of his own, or this little subplot of his own, is he's there and he gets caught in some kind of time eddy, and some of his commentary gets sent back to Earth in 2005 and then suddenly reverberates around where Eccleston and Rose are, and they actually hear it, and they're trying to write in that cock up into actual Who history.
Oh,
Ian,
God.
don't give him a hope to that. Sounds really good.
It's the kind of stupid thing Russell T Davies would do to try and go, look, you thought it was a cock up, but I planned it all along.
I actually love the way that Third Doctor Ian cares.
Yeah.
He's thought about this. Just Jordan's with us as well. I've never thought I'd be excited for footy ball. I won't watch it, but I won't have to watch Doctor Who either. And we had a message there from Cara Hughes. She says everybody that she's not having a good time. Cara, I hope you're okay. I hope you're all right. So God love you. Nice to see you, Cara. Brave heart, Cara, as we say in our circles. We've got benign crinoid. I'm praying to the soccer ball gods. What do you mean, Liverpool? Look at his face. Look at all your face. Oh, you'll start now, won't you? Raymond's with us. Hello, Raymond Williams. I wish I cared, but I don't. I will watch Carnival of Monsters instead. Good choice.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
Good choice. Yeah. Are they showing, says Paul Stanton, are they showing Who on Eurovision night, or are they still making their mind up? We've got some clever people on this show, haven't we? Not on the panel. I mean, in the actual chat there. But there you go. And we've got here Arjan. Hello, Arjan. What you're saying to us? Marlow was likely same-sex attracted. His Edward II highlights Edward's relationship with Piers Gaveston. An associate quoted him as saying, all they that love not tobacco and boys were fools. Yeah, similar. Isn't there something to do with Canterbury Tales suggesting it as well? But we're never going to know because they're all dead.
Yeah.
We've got here Mark Greaves. Thank you for your super chat, Mark. Easy to fit it in the schedule. Just take out all the fluff and filler and keep the relevant plot devices, so it should easily fit into 3 minutes.
Just the title sequence will do.
Yeah.
Credits. The highest rated he's ever had, wasn't it?
Yeah. Even the title credits with me would get 3 on the scores on the TARDIS doors because I don't like them. The rumour is, of course, they've adapted them again this year, but I can't see them doing that for the last series. Can you?
No.
Maybe they should have instead the TARDIS is following a coffin or something. I don't know. Put a coffin in there. In the title sequence. Good foreshadowing.
Oh,
Well, the TARDIS with flowers on the top of it, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. The Clara TARDIS thing. Yeah.
We've got Just Jordan saying to us here, these schedule clashes will be what they blame for its downfall, though not the fact it's now utter. Just Jordan, wash your mouth. What will your dad say? And Arthur Daniels is saying to us, isn't that RTD's favourite song? In or out, there is never a doubt, just who's pulling the strings. Eurovision. Hello, Marine Boy 1966, who wants to know, is the Norton wine fruity and full-bodied?
Couldn't possibly comment.
We couldn't possibly comment, and we're not going to buy one. Hello to Lenny, who's joining us as well. Nice to see you. Boom, bang, a bang. Oh, little Lulu. There she goes. There she is down there. Love Lulu. Loved her in AbFab. Lots of comments about this one, but it's true. It was announced today. Graham Norton, 20 years after his original debut in Doctor Who, is back. Isn't that lovely? The first episode sounds so bad, I almost want to watch it now, says Neville.
No, I don't
Not long now, Neville.
And let's carry on watching us, because we're going to come to the previews in a minute, Neville. See what you think when I read out the stuff that they're talking about. And Duncan. It had to be at least one of you could take a little sulk to that, wouldn't it? But good to see you all. Benign Crinoid is saying the titles are slightly better than Matt Smith's fiery colonoscopy in I have to say yes. Yeah, I didn't like those either, Benign Crinoid. So yeah, you've got a point.
I won't be able to unsee that now. Next time I watch a Matt Smith episode, yeah.
It was like you lot when you showed me the Jodie Whittaker ones. I'm like, what the hell is this? It looked like the contents of somebody's toilet.
I liked that one, I have to say. But,
You liked Whittaker's TARDIS?
No, the title sequence.
The title sequence.
Yeah. And the theme, that's the best bet. The rest of them rubbish.
I can't remember it.
Yeah. Right, so we've got all that there. Let's get on to this next one then, because the big story again, following our speculation on Wednesday's headlines, which now appears to be coming true, that Ncuti Gatwa has done the golden rap. He has been given the sonic screwdriver and off his toddle to do this Royal Shakespeare thing. With Newsround, of course, the big story. Now, Newsround, as a lot of you may be aware, thanks to what we've talked about before, is a news show for children on children's BBC. Why it's on a separate channel, it should be back on the BBC, but don't get me started on that. But anyway, this has been going for, well, I think the first one must have been when we were kids in the early 70s with John Craven, wasn't it? So it's been going
he's no longer involved, is he? Let's be honest.
No, because he's well retired now, John Craven, isn't he?
He's doing like gardening programs, isn't he? Stuff like that, yeah.
And quite right too. But he was a legend to our generation, wasn't he?
Absolute legend, yeah.
Because you would see him Monday to Thursday being a professional BBC newsreader, delivering the news in a cracking way without being patronizing like they would do today, I would imagine, and without trying to be down with the kids, and without
wearing some cracking jerseys, I remember, as well. Yeah.
And in ties and shoes, and not probably plimsolls and tracksuits and all the nonsense they would do today.
And you trusted him as well, didn't you? You trusted him. You saw him as a genuine authority figure, but not an overbearing one. He was absolutely brilliant.
And he was amazing on this, and they did all the adult coverage, because Newsround was part of the BBC News team, so it was all the same stories that you were going to see later on at 6 o'clock. It was John Craven, of course, that also brought us the news at around about 4:45 or whatever it was, that Doctor Who in 1985 was going on its first hiatus. Topical. We covered that in our hiatus show recently. But in Newsround just yesterday, Russell T Davies, Ncuti Gatwa, Millie Gibson and Varada Setu, amongst others, were all interviewed. And isn't it interesting? In the video that was put out onto Newsround, when it comes to Russell T Davies, he was going on about all the usual things that he was going on about. Rah, 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 rah. You know. But then he said this. I kind of know that the Doctor's reached the status of like Robin Hood. Sometimes there might be a pause, and during that pause, the viewers of Newsround now will grow up and start writing stories, and they'll bring it back. So, I have absolute faith that Doctor Who will survive, because I am living proof of it, and that's what happens to good ideas. No good idea ever dies. Now, also, since he said that, that element has now been removed from the Newsround footage.
Oh,
that's because he's living proof that it's also died on its arse.
Yeah. And then some.
And who could have been inspired to bring back Doctor Who based on the current era? Nobody.
Exactly.
So I'll be back in a generation if we're lucky.
Maybe a couple of centuries.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, all of us, all of us of a certain age, we've looked at that and gone, there it is. And for it today to have been edited out of their footage, that's saying something as well, isn't it? You know, it really, really is.
Well,
we've got your living proof of how to screw it up, RTD, says problem being. Jason Parker is saying to us, it's gone. And Mark Jones is saying Newsround started on April the 4th, 1972. Well, thank you for that, Mark. That's made me feel really old. Cheers. And Graham wants to know, and we're saying to us, Robin Hood, what's he going on about now? Well, of course, that means, he's slightly misquoting the whole thing that we had, especially through the wilderness years. Doctor Who is up there with Robin Hood and Sherlock Holmes as British legends, British institutions. How much longer, though, with an ever-changing country, that's going to last? I think we're about to find out.
Talking of editing, I tried to look back on YouTube the bit from the radio program that Ncuti and Varada were on, and they talked about the sonic screwdriver I mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
and I couldn't find that section where he said he was gifted it, so that may have been cut as well, I think. So they're trying to hide something, aren't they? I wonder what it could be.
The plan PR gone out the window, Paul. That's what's happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because now, as we've been seeing, they've been getting a lot of negative publicity over the last couple of weeks because they were daft enough to tell the Radio Times what they were laughing and joking about in hysterics. They were in hysterics on the set of Doctor Who when they were filming this thing last year. And now this has come out. So it's all, since 2004, they've not been able to actually present this show properly. They've always had some sort of leak or some sort of this quote, the Eccleston thing being the big one right on the day it bloody well came back. But But this is another example because, of course, we did have the whole thing talking about Graham Norton. See how this show links together, viewers. Back on the Graham Norton show, when Ncuti appeared on it for Christmas, they edited his bit out as well, where he said that season 3 was going to start filming. You know, I mean, that was wrong.
Lovely on that footage, though, isn't it? When that presenter on Newsround is wonderful, very, very, he's really poking at them to get information. Because when he asked Ncuti about season 3 and his reactions, I don't know, I have no idea. He's like rabbit in the headlights when he gets asked that question, don't you think?
They've been briefed, haven't they, by brand managers or whoever is there, the publicity, whatever it's going to be. They've been. You don't acknowledge anything, don't say anything, you get around it, and it shows you how bad actors they actually are because they can't really, because it just comes
so
across
unconvincing.
So false. Yeah.
I think it just goes to show that R2D, who get carried away with his words, they finally come up back to haunt him a little bit. He's clearly got carried away, probably with regret saying it, but if he blurts out whatever claptrap that he blurts out all the time, eventually he's gonna tie himself in a knot, really, and he has here.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know what you're saying there. Yeah. It's just we're gonna laugh at this at the end of the year, in our review show. We will be laughing at this. Because
we're laughing at it now, what do you mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but they just, I don't know. It's just silly, isn't it? I mean, Paul Schlafter is saying to us it's a bit late to edit it out when it's well and truly out there now. You're absolutely right, because you can't do that in this day and age. No. And again, it shows that there's nobody in Bad Wolf looking after this stuff. Nobody's approving stuff. Nobody's looking at it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they used to do up until at least last year, maybe.
Yeah. Well, the shift in tone is fascinating because all these interviews, it's almost a defeatist attitude. Because if you're out there promoting the show, you've got to be selling it as if this show is going to get massive numbers, that you truly believe in it. There's some really exciting stuff, some new monsters, or allude to stuff that's going on. But instead, they're just kind of batting back. Oh, well, we'll see, we'll wait and find out. And now they're letting slip, the sonic screwdriver gift. Oh, that whole quote from Russell is about, Doctor Who going beyond him. And he wouldn't, if he truly believed that, oh, do you know what, this time round, we're going to find an audience, we're going to get big numbers. If that's how you would sell a show to an audience, as executive producer or whatever, so they clearly know that this is not coming back. Otherwise, they'd still be trying to eke every audience member they possibly can out to get them to tune in on Saturday night. But they're clearly not doing that. They're doing it, going through the motions, but there's no enthusiasm behind it because I reckon they know it's already done, and that's why Ncuti's got other jobs. Russell T Davies has moved on to do Tic-Tac-Toe or whatever it is on Channel 4, whatever it's called.
Tic-Tac-Toe, yeah.
Yeah, they've kind of given up, haven't they? That's the impression I get as well, yeah.
They do seem defeated, yeah.
They're saving face. I think that's ultimately what it is. RTD basically saying, he's almost treating as Doctor Who continuing because, he kind of saying, just downplaying the fact that you cocked it up, mate. Produced a pile of turd and you cocked it up. And so it's basically they're all just trying to save face at the moment. It's saving their career and saving their skin, or making sure their reputation isn't damaged. Basically, I think that's what they're focused on.
And I think the lines that have been put out before about, Disney won't make a decision until Series 2 is screened or whatever, you'd still be trying really hard to promote it and to get that viewership.
Yeah.
Clearly, this decision's been made, and they're aware of it, and so they're trying to, eke whatever audience they can out, but they're not expecting to.
I bet
if you have genuine.
Go on, Ian.
If you had genuine pride in what you produced, and you genuinely thought it was good, and you'd spent that much money on it, that one of the episodes was the most expensive episode ever in 60 years, then even if you knew it was all over, you would still do your damnedest to promote it, because you would have that inherent pride in your work and faith in your own abilities. And you're right, they don't show any of that. and that's quite telling.
It is.
Yeah, it's quite probably quite obsessing for, take away the creative, but the people that actually work on that show and do put a lot of love and effort. So it's almost a bit disrespectful to the people, that just do the set designs and really the special effects. So it's not great for them, is it?
There's a lot of talent working in
remember
Cardiff, but it's not Russell, is it? Let's be honest.
No, it's not.
And we've spoken about those guys before in our review shows because the show does look good. They are very talented people, but it's just a shame that they're being handed terrible scripts that are very, non-committal, really, or committed to a certain agenda. Stephen L. Reese in the chat is saying to us there's a big shift in RTD's attitude towards the series. I agree with that, Stephen. You can actually see it in the Newsround interview as well. The guy is tired. The guy is so tired. I believe he'll spin it that he knew it was cancelled, and I'm sure he'll say he'll come back to see it off. We've got here Jason Parker saying to us, for people so heavily involved in media, they are awfully unable to manage their media presence, unable to manage a carefully scripted interview. Yeah, it's as though, when you've been told as an actor you can't talk about this and this and this, surely the improvisation side of you would come through when you're brought to that, and you would come up with something. I don't see that magic that actors have with these people at all. And as Paul says, they're always looking for somebody else to say, I'm going to get into trouble for this. It's still they're terrified.
Actors improvising is a real skill, and Ncuti doesn't have that at all.
Yeah. They're relying way too much on movie magic, says Post Bunny. They certainly are, aren't they, lovely? And Domgo is saying, I can just see Robin Hood thrusting to Kylie Minogue. Now that's a reference to something we're going to be talking about in a minute, because there is a Kylie Minogue reference in tomorrow's episode, The Robot Revolution.
He's not going to start twerking again, is he? Oh no! Come on!
Julianne is saying to us here, the jig's up. It's hilarious. And Frankie Stannage is saying, I think the BBC has canned Bad Wolf and they will find another company to produce it for Disney. Anything can happen right now, but all I can think of is that BBC Studios must be livid. A second chance to get it going and up again and to be huge. And it hasn't been. It's been an almighty flop.
Well, when you compare it to the dialogue and the messages that were coming out about, RTD saying it was going to be the Whoniverse, it was going to be like, the new Marvel and DC multiverses, and there's going to be all these spin-offs, and BBC Studios must be rubbing their hands together because that's what they wanted, and all of that has completely disintegrated and fallen away.
Hasn't it just?
BBC Studios must be gutted.
Yeah, and it was so easy to do that, actually, from our point of view as fans that aren't agenda driven. Doctor, TARDIS, Companion, Daleks, sci-fi, go. That's all it needed. Good, proper, solid storytelling. Hello to the Saint 194 who's joining us. Nice to see you as well. It's great to see so many of you in the chat. For us tonight on the big show on your Friday, this is, of course, the launch of our Who's Views coverage of Series 2 of Disney Who, RTD2, Dr. Woke, Dr. DEI, Eric in Space, as I call it. Whatever you want to call it, it's all starting tomorrow, and we'll be back on Sunday for our big show, the big review show, of course, 8 o'clock on Sunday. Josh H is with us saying, imagine taking a show with such potential at the biggest budget as it apparently ever had and having it at a serious risk of being on hiatus again. These people should not work in television again. It's a good point, isn't it? Yeah, it really is a good point. Jane's with us as well. Jane Smith saying, well, at least RTD has been nominated for the Hugo Awards for Dot and Bubble and 73 Yards. I couldn't believe that. So he must be a great writer, mustn't he? It can't be his fault. Again, Jane, I don't know about you, but I'm constantly thinking he's always been told by his industry and critics that he's brilliant and he's a genius, a bit like Moffat, because of stuff they did 20 years ago. And the fact that he brought Doctor Who back 20 years ago. And before that, he did the Queer as Folk thing. Have you seen his recent stuff? It's not very good at all. Dot and Bubble, 73 Yards. Again, I think it's just virtue signaling, tick boxing nonsense.
Doesn't touch midnight, does it? By any stretch of imagination. I think he's just out of touch, isn't he? He's 60 whatever years old. He's out of touch with where the landscape is and what actually the audience thinks and what the audience wants. And I think ultimately that's what's happened over the past 10 years or however long since 15 years since he left in 2010. He just doesn't know. He's very much maybe he was more in touch even with his own political stuff was more in touch back in 2005 with where he was at there with the modern audience. But where his political stuff now is with the current audience is very, very far apart. And he's just doing what RTD does, which he does his political stuff on steroid now, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's so angry, he's pushed it into his writing. This thing he's doing for Channel 4 next year will be extremely angry, this tic-tac-toe TQ cult drama thing that he's writing. Watch the anger flowing through the words on that script. I'm not going to be bothering with this. And I hope it's a flop, quite frankly. But it's going to be full of anger at the state of the world not doing what he wants it to do. Josh H is saying, I hope the talented people who do work on the show are picked up by others. RTD has managed to find work despite this debacle. Yes, because he's who he is. And you're right there. So good luck to all of them. And Legion of James, you can tell by the hate they direct at the fans that they are all bitter and their pride is hurt because they were rejected and their propaganda BS has failed epically. I think it's all on the way. I think there's going to be a lot of that coming our way. People didn't do this, they didn't do that, didn't do that. Do you know what I'm saying there, Legion of James?
Yeah.
I think there's more of that to come. And State 194 is saying season 1 was an absolute garbage. Season 2 will likely be more of the same. What's happened to this show? It just keeps getting worse, sad to say.
Yeah, and as you were mentioning, JT, earlier, the particular core group of fans who are trying to defend the show, once they start going on the attack, it won't be the show itself. It will be fans like us who have been critical and said what we haven't liked about it. It'll be all our fault.
Yeah.
Not the general audience who've lost interest and moved on and, spend their Saturday nights doing something completely different. It'll be us as the fans, exactly like it was for, the Star Wars fans bringing down the Acolyte and all that stuff. It'll all be, it'll be us that are at fault, according to those people anyway. Where clearly it's the writing and it's the production that has let the show down.
Yeah.
Totally.
We didn't make the program, did we? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'd love to. Give me the opportunity and I'll do it. But
It's going to happen. There will be interviews in the next 5 years where these people that have had control of the show over the last 20 years come back and they're ferocious because they can be. And it will be all about how we made it. We were nasty people and ots and its, all the usual stuff. But be prepared for all that. We've got Eric in Space House says PTA, absolutely. And Connor Simpson is saying war on the woke. David B is also saying it comes to something when you begin to look back wistfully on the Whittaker years, please. Don't go too far.
I've said that a few times as well, yeah.
Matt the Silent, you need to get in a corner immediately because he says, I miss Whittaker. Come on, get a grip, everybody. Come on. We've just had three, if you want to include the other one. Spectacular miscasts in Doctor Who. That's the point. It needs to come off now, and it needs to have serious adult conversations with the adults coming back in the room and looking at these years to say, why did it go wrong? We know why it went wrong. Utterly. It's because it went too far to the extreme left. And pushed certain things that, it just pushed a load of lies. Duncan, with the iPlayer start time, it's now Doctor When. So of course, tomorrow morning, Saturday here in the UK, if you want to watch it, if you want to get up, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, it'll arrive on the iPlayer for the BBC. And then it's, 6:50 on BBC One tomorrow night. But as I said earlier, it looks like episode 2 is going to be 7:15.
It's more like Doctor Who whenever, isn't it, to be honest? You can watch it when you like, really.
And a lot of people going back to that thing, Doctor Who Cares.
Yeah.
What have we got here? Whoopie Doodle Doo. It's Scott Andrew Brass is saying you'll be saying Space Baby was crap next.
How dare you?
And Small Swole Goat has just reminded me that, of course, we've got the Unit spin-off still to come because he says, imagine if they renewed the Unit.
I forgot about that.
Who? I'd forgotten about that as well. Oh my gosh!
Can they not show it? Is that even a possibility? Probably
just
not.
wipe that one as well.
But would they? Do you think it's just something they'll just release on iPlayer and it won't actually show live on TV? But if you want to watch it, here's all the episodes for that spin-off. I would probably put my bet it will probably be that because I don't think they'll want to promote that on primetime BBC One.
I think we'll all be watching it on 2 times the speed, won't we?
Well, the time's going to tell with all this sort of stuff, isn't it? The Nate channel is saying, I will rewatch the Tom Baker series on Blu-ray. Good choice, I think, on that one. And Peter, the Peter Venkman fan site, what are you saying to us? Hello, lovely. I'd say RTD, some idiot gave him the keys to a car. He keeps crashing every time it gets wheels on it. Oh, that's the response to something Jane said. But yeah, I think the rest of us can follow that one. And
He
Raymond
needs to lose his license, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, he has, allegedly. Raymond Williams is saying, meanwhile, Bergerac with Toby Whithouse and Damien Maloney knocks it out of the park. Remember, both were mentioned as potential showrunners and doctors, respectively. Why do the BBC never listen to fans? Well, they do. It's just certain fans. Let's face it, Raymond. They've listened to Moffat and RTD and Chibnall for the past 20 years. And for some reason, BBC Studios got it into their head that they are geniuses. The British public and the Doctor Who fandom have had something to say about that over the last couple of years, though, certainly, haven't they? John is also saying to us that the unit thing will tank. Well, it's bound to. It's bound to,
That's
isn't it?
going to be really interesting as to when and if that is screened. I'm sure it was intended to be like a BBC One premiere. Maybe it'll just drop on the iPlayer. Might get BBC Three, who knows? But yeah, it'll really show what state Doctor Who is in after this run of 8 episodes.
Or straight to DVD.
Yeah.
If that doesn't get a decent broadcast slot.
Straight to Betamax.
Yeah, so you can't play it anywhere at all. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of you in the chat tonight. Thank you very much. And that story's gone down very well as well tonight. But I mean, yeah, it's going to kick off tomorrow. We're soon going to know what's going on with it. But yeah, I mean, that is what RTD said. What can we say about that? It does look, doesn't it, guys, like the thing is going on hiatus, and that, you know, nobody can tell us anything different, can they? Hang on. You're watching Who's Views. This is Headlines. This is the start of our shows looking towards the next series of Doctor Who. This is probably one of our competition on other channels, wants to know where we get our ideas from. Hang on a second. Hello, Who's Views Headlines. How can I help you?
Hello, is this the Who's Views Doctor Who review channel thing?
It is. Hello.
I've just been watching. This is Internet User 3456, YouTube channel 3456.
Yes,
and I just want to say, anonymously, that I think you're being very unfair. I think the last series of Doctor Who was a work of genius. Whoever wrote it knew exactly what they were doing. And I think moving forward, the next series is going to be even better, bigger, and more exciting. It's going to be fun, it's going to be glittery, it's going to be firm, it's going to be lubricated. And I think Ncuti Gatwa is an absolute genius actor. He's putting to shame every other actor who's ever played Doctor Who. And I think your chat, your group of people who are sitting there on the right-hand column here, I think they're very mean and nasty. And I think anyone who doesn't watch Doctor Who is part of the alt-right, part of the rise of all the danger in the world. But don't worry, we'll be in cellars, planning, plotting, and treating the world with love, because we are very kind people.
Don't be allowed to say that thing.
Yes, I'll get to that. Just one thing at a time.
I'm sure that guy's phoned in before. It seems very familiar. Hello? Oh no, he's gone. Thank you for user whatever for phoning in to the Who's Views hotline. Good to hear from you. I don't think he was very happy there, whoever that is.
No.
They need to get that guy on the press circuit, because he's promoting the show better than people charged with actually doing it.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing.
You've still got a landline. I can't believe it.
I know. Here's the proof, everybody. There it is there. Look at my lovely landline. I love you.
That's what telephones used to be.
But yeah, so thank you for that. Obviously, as we deal with these new versions of the new series, that happens on these shows. If you're new to us, if you are new to us, please make sure you've subscribed. If you have already subscribed, please make sure you're still subscribed, and please join us every Sunday night for the big review show as we go through this series for 8 weeks.
Did you say earlier, GT, that some episodes are longer than 45 minutes? Did you say the Interstellar contest of an hour, did you say?
I did not, thankfully, no.
Oh, thank God for that. I thought, yeah.
No, don't, stony ground,
Yeah.
stony ground. Also, don't forget that Headlines will be here every Friday. Your big show will be here every Friday on the channel at 8 o'clock as well. So there we go. Now, yeah, we are looking forward. I say looking forward. I am so funny sometimes. We are looking towards the next series of Doctor Who. And as it's traditional now here on Who's Views, this week I did my duty just for you. And I went out and about to my local Tesco's and took all the television guide magazines off the shelf and dutifully photographed them.
And then put them back again.
And then put them back out because I am miserable and I am not paying for them, especially the price of the Radio Times. So just for your delectation, let's do what we always do, the twist. No, that's another show. It's this. We're going to be looking at these magazines as we go through. We're going to start with TV and Satellite Week, which has this cover, which I find quite bizarre. Quite a nice picture of Gatwa. But I don't like the picture of Arada. It doesn't look right on that setup for me. But there you go. That's me being very, very picky.
Why is she looking at him like that? That's weird.
Yeah.
That's
That's
really
not the
weird.
look. Yeah, that's not a
bit
look that
creepy, isn't it?
suggests-
To be honest, yeah.
doesn't suggest that I'm your equal, does it? It's you're wonderful.
I'm more interested in the picture of is it Pedro Pascal from Mandalorian? What's going on there?
Yeah, it's all a bit.
The Last of Us next series, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but that's what they've done here.
That's far more interesting, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Duncan is saying to me, it should be a red phone, JT. Never happy.
Can you paint it?
Yeah. Wrestling reviewer Daniel is with us. Hello, Dan. Wrestling reviewer Daniel, he says. He's changed his name now. It used to be known as Scottish Davros. So nice to see you, my friend. How are you? You okay? He's saying to us, hello, panel, and good luck to you all on Saturday watching this train wreck. Quick, someone get poor JT a drink.
Is Daniel Incognito then? Is that why he's got a different name? Is he?
It must be. I don't know.
Moonlighting somewhere, yeah.
It must be. Let's get into that then with that particular one. Now, they've all used that big cover that we started with at the beginning of the show. You know, that big graphic that they produced of the Doctor and Belinda. So interested on the moon or wherever it is, you know, so you'll see that repeated. That's why we started this particular show with it as well. But here we go with TV and Satellite Week. That's it. That's what they give it there, everybody. It's 2 pages. Okay, it's 2 pages. So let's go in to see what it actually says, because it actually does this. Season 2, everything you need to know from RTD. He's going on bits and pieces here. Mission to Miami, he talks about there. Although Belinda is initially a reluctant traveller, her adventures with the Doctor soon give her a new perspective. Within a week, she's having fun on board the TARDIS, reveals RTD. On her first trip, she ends up in Miami in 1952. The Doctor is on a mission to get Belinda back home, but it won't be as easy as they think. They end up in the wilds of outer space and discover that the one day that they can't get back to is the day Belinda left. There's a big reason behind that. They also go into the Ruby's return, as you can see there. Millie Gibson will be returning as Ruby Sunday in the 4th episode, Lucky Day, which explores Ruby's life after leaving the Doctor. There's going to be a bit of PTSD in there. Oh, you do surprise me. You really do.
JT, can I ask about they can't get back to the day they left? Will that ever be explained, do you think?
No.
No, okay.
No, it will be, and apparently it's all to do with the final episode. I've got more coming up about that in this section, so stay with us, viewers.
Okay.
We've got that.
RTD ripping off Stephen Moffat. That's what he's doing. He's ripping off the Big Bang and.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
He couldn't get back to New York on the day that he.
That too. Yeah.
Until next week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It goes into here. It says that we've got that here. Ruby's seen death on a ferocious scale and escaped by the skin of her teeth. So going back to a normal life is difficult. So he's got this whole thing now, PTSD in there. Are we surprised in this new version of Doctor Who? No, it's one of the reasons the whole thing has failed. Flood alert. Anita Dobson will be reprising her role as the enigmatic Mrs. Flood, and it will finally be revealed as to whom she is. She's being more mysterious than ever, and I promised you some shocking answers, says RTD. There's a lot of fun to come. And then we've got this thing, the 6th episode entitled The Interstellar Song Contest is set to air immediately before Eurovision, ha ha ha, on the 17th of May and stars Ryan Clark. We were saving money like mad throughout to be able to afford episode 6, Smells Davies. Eurovision is the most spectacular stage show you will ever watch, and we're going to match that. It then goes on to talk about cartoon capers as well as Rylan. That's quite appropriate. There's an array of guest stars appearing this season, including Alan Cumming, who is the voice of a cartoon that comes to life called Mr. Ring-a-Ding-Dong-Ding-Ding. Jonah Hauer King is new too. Freddie Fox plus Mel is back with Bonnie Langford, Ruth Madley as Shirley, and Gemma Redgrave as Kate. Working with Gemma is an absolute joy.
Is the reason the song contest episodes really expensive? Is that because of Ryland's fee? Is it?
Well, Graham Norton's be more like
and Graham Norton's as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to. I'm not going to be watching that episode for all of you watching this show. I will not be watching that episode because I cannot. I just cannot support the work of a known homophobe such as Juno Dawson. So I won't be watching that, but the panel will be, and they'll be reporting back on the show to tell me and those of you out there that haven't watched it how good or bad it was, quite frankly. If it's good, we'll say, or they will say, and then, I'll send them eggs in the post. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how expensive it is. Yeah. Did they build the set? Because the set we saw looked like the Blue Peter Studios, remember? When Dawson was coming out of the box, the police box. Yeah.
I was going to ask as well about Ruby's character being traumatized. She only did 9 episodes, for God's sake. That's even 10 hours.
She doesn't like big dog Paul. She does not like big dogs.
She doesn't like big
dogs.
Exactly.
You know, some people don't like big dogs. So,
yeah, some people don't like big dogs. Some people don't like little dogs.
Yeah. I suppose Sutek was like a Great Dane, wasn't he? To be honest, that's like Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
In this incarnation,
And this incarnation.
He adds, the look of people thinking they're making history instead of repeating it badly, says Peter Venkman's fan site. And wrestling reviewer Dan, 5 on Mrs. Flood being the Rani.
Won't even be as interesting as that.
Yeah, well, there's lots of theories online about Flood being somebody with water and Rani's an anagram of rain and all that kind of nonsense. Is that all? That's awful. Yeah. If it's as bad as the Sutek anagram last season, it just is really lazy, doesn't it? If that's going to be what's going to be, yeah.
Well, you reckon it's the Black Guardian, don't you?
Well, it'd be more interesting if it was, but the Black Guardian will be gender swapped, no doubt. Again,
well, if it's her, it has been.
Yeah,
what if it's nobody from the past? Maybe he's going to pull another, Ruby mum trick, and it's just going to be
Ruby's mum's Omega.
Well, if you're interested, you haven't got long to wait because it starts tomorrow. Paul was saying as we were coming on onto the show as well that they've actually released the clip from tomorrow. So if you're interested, go and have a look at that because apparently Anita is in that as Mrs. Flood. We've got the next one coming up for us now out of the British TV listings magazines this week. We've got What's on TV. Now, as you can see in the middle of the page, or the front page there, it's that little picture that we've got of Ncuti Gatwa and Verada Setu on the TARDIS set where they were laughing and joking about being the only people of colour to lead the show ever. So there we go. That's them there. We look inside. It's one of What's on TV's hot TV shows this week. There you are. Again, there's that picture there. Hop back on the TARDIS for another series of intergalactic adventures, time-bending tensions and explosive battles with villainous warriors as the Doctor and new companion Belinda Chandra in tow. And then it goes on to just look at some of the guests there. We've got a feature in there as well, which is called Robot Rampage. Mm-hmm.
Same image.
Yeah. There's a rude awakening in store for Belinda Chandra and/or star Verada Setu as Doctor Who returns this week as the unsuspecting nurse is woken up in the middle of the night and abducted by robots from another planet, as what happens. Belinda has no idea what the robots want or why they've chosen her, but she soon crosses paths with the Doctor, who's on a mission to save her. It's one of the first times that the Doctor has come seeking for a companion, says Verada. Somebody has told him her name, Belinda Chandra, and he comes crashing into her world, then chaos ensues. Belinda is horrified to discover that she's millions of light years away from home, but she is quick to assert herself both against alien foes and the Doctor himself. My favourite thing about her is that she's just so confident, explains Verada. She's got her own value system, and she isn't afraid to stand up to the Doctor. Belinda's very independent and super selfless. Eagle Eye fans will recognise Verada. She previously played the role of Monday Flynn in the episode Boom last year, and the star admits she was surprised to be invited back. I really didn't think I'd get the opportunity to come back, she smiles. I did a 3-week shoot in Cardiff on Boom and had so much fun. I wrapped that episode around March, went travelling over the summer, and when I got home, I got a call from my agent asking if I wanted to go in for a meeting about potentially becoming the Doctor's new companion. It was amazing.
Amazing.
Not what I'm going to put out to you guys there and everybody in the chat. I get a distinct lack of energy from these previews. Now, you can actually tell. Remember ages ago I was saying, let's have a look and see where they're following a scripted press release. Can you spot anything yet coming up there? There are certain elements of it, you know?
We've not had a best episode ever so far. Is that coming up? Is it?
Or maybe they've given up on that strategy finally.
Yeah, maybe they realise there aren't
No,
any.
it's not true.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's one coming up.
Oh, sorry,
not from
the
them, though.
Intergalactic Song Contest, wasn't it? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, it depends how you interpret what's coming up. TV Times also got in on the act this week as well with this. Not a Doctor Who front cover, but there is the show represented in the bottom right-hand corner. Meet the new companion. Now, TV Times also has this thing, as we focused before on the show before, of showing their best top 10 shows of the week, and they've put Doctor Who at number 1 there on the top left-hand corner.
How much did they pay them to do that?
You do wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a bit odd, isn't it, really? But then we are slightly biased, I guess. It goes into this Doctor Who Saturday 6:50. This is what they're talking about here. Again, this is the same sort of thing where they ask Verada, what can you reveal about Belinda? You previously appeared in the 2024 episode Boom as a different character. How have you found working with Ncuti and Millie Gibson, who returns later in the run as companion Ruby Sunday? So same sort of answers are coming through here. Can you see? You can see them there. I'll leave it up for a minute. But in relation to that last question, how did you find working with them? They are both such amazing, talented, beautiful people. Ncuti has such a vibrant energy he brings to the Doctor, and they've both got such presence. As an actor, you want to match that. So you level up your own performances. I had the best time. They're both so much fun. What was it like walking onto the TARDIS set for the very first time? Did you get any input into the look of your character? Can you share teasers about some of the monsters you'll meet this series? This one goes about Mr. Ring-a-Ding-Dong-Ding-Ding. The cartoon in episode 2 was probably my favourite. We had to act with this little 3-foot cardboard cutout. But afterwards, when we did ADR... But afterwards, when we did ADR, automated dialogue replacement, a post-production process in which the actors re-record lines in a quieter setting, we were able to see the animation, and he is terrifying. There are a couple of the more classic monsters in there too. I'll say that again for you. There are a couple of the more classic monsters in there too. But what I also love is when there are slightly more complicated bad guys who surprise you, ones where there's a twist. TV Times goes on to say, intriguing. Doctor Who always has stellar guest stars. Was there anyone you were particularly excited about? Here we go. I loved meeting and working with Rylan. Yeah, we were in the same makeup truck for a week before we filmed together, and by that time I was on set with him. It was just so easy. He's so friendly and welcoming, and he brought this real joy to set.
Can I ask something? You said they're in the makeup truck for a week. Is that how long it takes to get Rylan ready for makeup? Is it?
Well, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
We've also got this very interesting final question from the TV Times to her. Finally, did you get any advice from other actors who have portrayed the Doctor's companion? Yes, Mandip Gill, who played Yasmin Yaz Khan from 2018 to 2022, reached out. I feel like both Millie and Mandip said the same thing, which is that it's super intense, but to lean in and have as much fun as possible. I was like, yes, of course I'm going to have fun. But having experienced it now, you get so swept up, and each environment in the episodes is so different, so it's quite hard to be able to absorb it all. I'm so glad both of them gave me that advice, and I would say the same thing to whomever my successor is. So a golden wrap for Verada Setu as well, everybody.
Verada, get your coat. You're leaving. Yeah.
They're saying so much here, and yet there's an awful lot of people denying what's going on. This is the last series of Doctor Who. It seems pretty evident, don't you think?
Yeah, the last series ever. Yeah. So.
What do you think?
I noticed they don't really talk about they talk. She talks about a character and all of that, but there's no talk about this episode really gonna push boundaries in terms of the story. It's really gonna they're gonna be some. Yeah, they don't really talk about the stories at all, really, apart from, a monster here or there. It's very kind of, like what really is there you're reading as an audience for you to get excited about?
Well, in terms of monsters, they've not really, there's Mr. Ring-a-Ding, who's an animated character. There's the robots in the first one that we know about.
Yeah.
It's not really, they keep talking up the Interstellar Song Contest nonsense. Like, where's the the Weeping Angels are coming back. We've redesigned the Sontarans. There's none of that. none of that sort of basic Monster of the Week stuff that would actually get younger viewers interested.
They do have those CGI kind of Ghostbusters creatures they've got in is it episode 4, the one that Millie's mainly in? I think they're in that one.
But they don't talk about it.
They're not talking about it.
Yeah. I agree with Bedway. I mean, if Chibnall can even get that right, that says a lot.
Yeah. Did he?
Well, I mean, even if you take Flux, at least there was, some Tyrants and the Weeping Angel just to get people interested.
I love the Sun Tyrants in Flux.
They do look great. They do look great. Yeah.
Not in terms of like the plot and the meat and chocolate, but like that design was superb.
Yeah, the design was good.
Yeah.
Just Jordan is saying to us here that would get anyone interested. The whole point of these articles, of course, in the TV listeners magazines, as we know, is to get the public interest and get the public saying, "Oh, Doctor Who's back!" Get them excited. Oh, it's on Saturday night. I'm going to watch it. Has that vibe come through to you guys yet?
No.
So,
although if the rumor is that the regeneration has been filmed, they should be milking that to death. They should. That should be, that generally in Doctor Who's history is always something that's got viewers interested and got viewers, wanting to check out, what makes him regenerate, what is the next regeneration going to be into, and then they're not mentioning that at all. I guess that's clearly strategic to avoid admitting that he's gone, but still, like, if that's something that's already in the can, use it in your promotion. If they've not got Daleks, if they've not got Cybermen or any of the big hitters, then regeneration is the only other thing they can really fall back on. And
yet they've hinted at it. I've said this before and I'm sticking to my guns. They hinted at it in that trailer where the logo regenerates. It's got the regeneration energy on it. There's the hint. But only us as fans, and not many of them, by the way.
I think the odds are his regeneration will be caused by dehydration, no doubt, won't it?
Yes, it will do. Yeah. We will do. We are going to be introducing the crying game on this show in just a few minutes, everyone. Stay with us. And we've got the ratings game coming up for you as well. Robert Payne, if they are going to have any classic monsters or species, they'd be a fool not to mention that. Oh, wait, it's them, isn't it? Yeah. And Tim Kintz, if Millie's episode has a good monster, could her solo be the best of the series again? Very possibly.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
She can actually carry an episode.
As she's proven. She did 2 last year, didn't she? Really?
She's the best thing of the past 2 years, definitely, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. 73 yards was pretty good because of her. I'm hoping for a Tetrap boy band in the song contest and the Moinoid Beatles, or the Beatles, or the Beatles, if you're Chibnall, says Benign Crinoid. Why Beatles? Did he... What? What's that a reference to, guys?
No, that's got me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I can't remember. Not if it's Chibnall. I can't remember.
But Tetrap boy band, I pay for that. I pay my good money for that one.
Yeah. You just have to pay the Baker estate. And Neville, I'm not even whelmed. Oh dear. Problem being is saying to us, I reckon they will make an announcement of where this is all going after the first episode has aired. Well, let's see if they do. Don't forget to join us again Sunday night for the first episode of our reviews, live at 8. And Terrified Monk is saying it's because it's an open-ended regeneration with no new Doctor, as it was supposed to be back when they got rid of Whittaker. Yeah.
But I guess they could do what Bedward says and really kind of ramp it up and then shock horror. Yeah, you just cut to black. I mean, you could. I mean, RTD loved to, go his audience into thinking one thing and then just, feeling underwhelmed at the end of it. So you might as well just do it and just see if you can rack up some more viewers. You've got nothing else to lose. Why not?
If they do have a fade to black, they have that wonderfully cheesy "to be continued" thing they did.
Oh, they will. Yeah. But again,
they will return. Or something
this smacks of stuff they've done before, but got it wrong. Because in 2005, that regeneration was supposed to hit the public with such a surprise. They were trying to keep it under wraps, and there it was on the first day when it was coming out. Oh, this one's leaving at the end of this series, so they didn't get that. I reckon this time around they're trying to keep that under wraps, but this time around nobody cares. And we'll soon be seeing if anybody's watching. Hello to DC Game. Welcome to Who's Views. If there is to be another season, cast Paul McGann and have Gareth Roberts as the showrunner. I don't even know if Gareth, bless him, would be interested now in coming to
Paul
actually
McGowan
try to
would.
save the show. Well, Paul McGowan is an actor; he'll
Yeah.
do anything for the
He'd
money.
love to, yeah, I'm sure.
On that point, JT,
Yeah.
are they hoping that if they drop it as a surprise, then that would get loads and loads of iPlayer viewers? With people catching up because they hadn't watched it live, and therefore it would feed their argument if everyone watches on the iPlayer.
I don't think they care, Bedweir, at this point. We're going to know, aren't we, over the next 8 weeks? We're going to know about that sort of result. But personally, right now, because of the lackluster publicity drive for this and the lack of energy, and I just don't think they'll care. And if it's coming off, will they justify it? Time will tell, won't it, really? Hello, PTA. Thank you for your super chat. Where's the tenant doctor vanished to? That's a good question, but do we care?
He's apparently dead, isn't he? That's what Russell said, yeah. So,
In the garden.
yeah.
His career is.
He probably, there's a rake on the lawn and he probably got bashed in the face and then died, yeah.
But this is the point. It's like I was saying, the Christmas thing where the character stays for a whole year, doesn't he, in a hotel and works in a hotel for a whole year, doing silly things with broom handles and stuff. All he had to do was pop down the road to his other self and borrow the TARDIS, for heaven's sake. I mean, this is the nonsense of where this show now is. He's written the whole thing into baggage central. So God help anyone that gets the keys to the TARDIS, as we always say, to bring it back. Honestly, but thank you, PTA. They're going to have to wipe everything and start again fresh with no continuity. Terrified Monk is actually saying RTD will write himself into being the new Doctor.
He has already.
And Domgo's actually saying, look, the whole thing needs rebooted to the very start with the brand new first Doctor. I never liked that idea, Domgo. But having seen what's happened in the last 20 years, all paths lead to Whittaker, all paths lead to Chibnall, I wish they had done, because then we wouldn't be in the situation now where we're having fan arguments over what's continuity and what isn't continuity, and can he transform into the opposite gender? No is the answer, all this sort of stuff, because it would have been Doctor One. It would have been a brand new Doctor. You know,
I still reckon what's going to happen is they'll reverse the by regeneration. They go back into Tennant. We'll be back with Tennant again. That's what happens.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
I kind of just wish they'll have Capaldi in the TARDIS and he wakes up. It's a bad nightmare. Okay, cracking on.
That's never going to happen.
No, never going to happen. No.
Hello to Richard.
In my head canon, that's what.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
I don't want that at all. I'll just get rid of it.
I think the solution, the only real solution, is to just start in a few years' time with a new Doctor, new companion, and then let everyone else work out where that fits into whatever timeline you want to. Whether it comes after Capaldi,
I agree,
Gatwa, whatever you want to, each to their own. But just start telling new stories from scratch.
Yeah,
I've been saying this for ages. Get rid of this blooming obsession that they have these days with the numbering of the incarnation. Because in our day, when we were kids, it was just the Doctor. We never said, "Oh, the third Doctor did this," or "the fourth Doctor did that." We never did. That's a recent thing. It was just the Doctor. Mm-hmm. All the actors in Doctor Who since Whittaker can't act apart from Millie Gibson and Bradley Walsh. Says Philip. Yeah, well, I can't comment because I've never seen them, but I know that most of them.
Well, Bradley's not a bad actor, I have to say. He wasn't bad.
He was okay.
He was wasted in it, though.
Totally.
I don't mean he was drunk. I mean, he wasn't developed.
He probably wishes he was.
Yeah, but he did. Yeah.
He acted the part of someone who'd completely given up on the show in the second series very well indeed.
He did, definitely, yeah.
Chris Graham wants to see McGann and Daphne back. Problem being, RTD said the 14th Doctor went to Venice and drowned in a whirlpool. It was very sad. He's so stupid sometimes, RTD, isn't he?
Yeah.
Isn't he? Just saying something stupid like that. What
he
the
just
hell
thinks he's clever. He thinks he's clever and he thinks he's funny. And he's neither.
He thinks he's solved the problem there, but
because he realizes the stupidity of what he wrote into the show, and then he suddenly comes back from being in La La Goo Goo Land down in Cardiff. People start asking him these things, and he goes, "Oh, that was ridiculous what I've done there. Oh, I'll make something up and just get rid of it." It's just, do you know what I mean? He's realized that he's a prat and that he did something wrong in the show. It's as simple as that. We've got here Graffotta. Would anyone good at writing be even interested in showrunning Doctor Who anymore? That's a superb point, because they've all got their own shows now.
Yeah.
A lot of them are busy, or they're busy having nice careers writing books, novels, articles for journals, getting into politics, some of them, so they've left certain things aside, presenting shows, or in the case of people like Toby, having huge hits on all the channels that have turned up, like the Bergerac I'm always going on about. So it's a good point, Graffossa. Who's going to give up something like that? Toby Whithouse, maybe? I'd be a bit worried, but Catherine Reed. I bet Gatwa will regenerate back into Tennant so they can keep trying milking the success of its past. He's not as popular here, though, is he, Tennant? Come on, we've got to face this, and they must know it.
I saw a trailer tonight of his new game show. Oh dear God! Yeah, he's got a game show that says it all, don't you think? You know.
Yeah.
Does he start it with a song?
He probably. It wasn't in the trailer. He may do that in the show itself. Yeah.
Was he in a kilt?
No, he had a really odd suit on, like one of the odd suits he wore. Yeah.
It's got some sort of suit going on. Let's go back to the previews in the magazines, though, and we'll go back to this. This is TV Guide, Total TV Guide. There's their cover. Yeah, okay.
What was he wearing? Oh gosh,
look at him trying to look intellectual as well and failing.
Yeah.
How is that Doctor Who? Honestly, look at it. I mean, it's like that. What green?
Apart
from the TARDIS right at the back.
Yeah. Show it's Doctor Who. Well, it gets worse because inside the magazine it gets this. Worlds of pure imagination is what they go for here. The article, I have to say, is the same thing where it's Verada's interview. She's talking about the character, etc., etc. Day on set working with Ncuti. It's the same thing, so I'm not going to bother reading it out for you again, but there's the picture there from tomorrow. You've got Russell T. Davis there. Clever. We've also got this from the Radio Times now, moving on to the big one. They, again, like the TV Times, says their top shows for the week. And, of course, it's the Radio Times. You have to expect it. Doctor Who is at number 1. There we go, top left-hand corner. That's the outfit that Emilio's just been criticising. It's the one we all know now. It's the waistcoat, the T-shirt, the trousers, and a skirt over the top of them. So 80s. It's unbelievable. The Radio Times moves on to look at all this. Now, this is the one, of course, with it being the BBC's tie-in magazine, even though it's not owned by them anymore. They've got RTD involved. Over 2 pages. It's called 12 Points. Exclusive episode guide. So stand by your beds, everybody. We're now going to take a trip through the 8 weeks of the episodes. We're going to start with the chat from Russell T. Davis himself. It says, welcome aboard, Belinda Chandra, and welcome, faithful viewers, young and old. The arrival of a new companion in Doctor Who is a chance for the whole show to reset, to open those TARDIS doors wide, one and all. Again, this is the point here. It's a bit hypocritical again, isn't it? Because you've only just done that last year.
Yeah.
You've just done it last year, and you got rid of that young lady to bring in this young lady. What's going on? Anyway, I digress. Don't forget that for some people, this will be their first ever adventure in time and space. I was reminded of this recently by Scott Mill's breakfast show on Radio 2. The easiest quiz opened with the question, what colour... Why is a 60-year-old man listening to... Oh, anyway. What colour is Doctor Who's TARDIS? Green? No, wrong, it's blue. And it reminded me that everyone needs to watch this show because your life, or at least your quiz life, could depend on it. It is a delight to welcome Verada Setu as Belinda onto the TARDIS. She dazzled last year as Mundy Flynn, and we loved her so much, I quickly rewrote things so Verada could return. There are more returns in store. Don't worry if you're missing Millie Gibson's wonderful Ruby Sunday, because she's coming back in a story the likes of which we've never told before, heard it all before. And when Ruby and Belinda meet, I promise you sparks will fly. So let me lead you through the stories to come with a scattering of spoilers, a few sly hints, and some tantalizing sleight of hand. Because for the next 8 weeks, the mantra is going to be, get Belinda home. Does that start to get you interested, everybody?
No.
No.
Not even accidentally.
And I think Bedouin is asleep. Wake up!
I mean, I don't even believe what he's saying. Like, it's just...
No.
Oh, sparks are going to fly between those. No, they won't.
No,
they won't.
And if so, what sort of sparks, knowing him?
You know, if Ruby's got PTSD, she's just going to be saying, "Get out now! Don't stay with this guy. It's insanity. Don't."
There's only going to be
Yeah.
sparks if Rogue comes back, isn't there? That's the only way there'll be sparks.
Oh no! Please. I'm going to be sick. We've
bet
got
he comes
flies.
back, yeah.
Flies will spark, says Lee Smith. Peter Venkman fan site is saying to us, RTD, everything is great, fantastic, wonderful, the best writing and adventures. Yep. Richard Brooks, good to see you. To reset, you filmed it all together with a short break between shoots, you lying hack. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying on Wednesday, wasn't it? They've made it look like they went away. They didn't. They filmed it all back to back. It's just the way they're presenting it to the public.
It's one season. I keep saying that.
Yeah, it is. And you know, actually, I was in the bath the other night thinking about what Paul was saying there about it's just one season. And it suddenly came to me, maybe they split it into two so that Gatwa and everybody else can say he had two series.
Maybe, yeah.
Because if they'd done the 13 episodes or whatever it was, he'd have gone by now.
Yeah.
You know, do you know what I'm saying? It was just something that comes, one of those things that go, listen, we're being joined by the married lady herself in the chat. It's Kirsty. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for the messages. Costa says hi. Godspeed with tomorrow. I'll text you later, boy. Well, listen, thanks for popping in, lovely. Have a safe flight.
Yeah.
Enjoy the honeymoon. And congratulations, darling. You looked fabulous. We showed your picture at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Chef's
kiss.
Congratulations, Kirsty.
Yeah.
Oh, bless her. How nice of her to pop in as well. I wouldn't, would you?
No. Enjoy yourself.
I'd be doing other things.
Well, it's a honeymoon after all, isn't it? Yes.
Lots of you in the chat with us tonight. Thank you so much for joining this. This is, of course, Who's Views. This is Headlines. It is the launch of our coverage of the up-and-coming Doctor Who series, which is starting tomorrow. And our series starts at 8 o'clock on Sunday here on the channel. RTD is like a broken record, just repetitive verbal diarrhea, says Julianne. Yeah. Yep. Let's get back into the Radio Times bit then. Here we go then with the rundown for the episodes. If you're outside the UK right now, you're thanking me for this, aren't you? But here we go. Tomorrow's one is the Robot Revolution, as we know. We know the premise of this. We've seen enough of it over the last couple of weeks. Okay. So it's there for you. The AI generator, Belinda has to be the queen, blah, 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 blah. So
it's like a rehash of Girl in the Fireplace a little bit, to be honest, I think. Yeah.
We're soon going to find out, aren't we? But it's we've talked about it over several shows now here. Anyway, so let's move on to episode 2, and it's Lux, written by RTD, directed by Amanda Brocci. The Doctor tries to return Belinda to the day she left Earth, but a mysterious force keeps making the TARDIS bounce off course, and one of those bounces takes them to Miami at 4 in the morning in 1952. Things are different at night, says the Doctor, aware of the danger from the moment they arrive. In the Palazzo Picture House, an old cartoon, Mr. Ring-a-Dong-Ding-Ding-Ding, Goes to Town, is playing. But as the hapless projectionist, Reginald Pye, played by Linus Roach, everybody, looks on in horror, Mr. Ring-a-Ding-Dong-Ding-Ding somehow steps from the screen, accompanied by the sound of screams. It's a long night of terror on the Florida coast. How do you fight a living cartoon? But the danger goes beyond that, as the Doctor and Belinda find all they hold dear being challenged. This is the one with Alan coming in, as you know. So, I'm very excited about that. Episode 3 is written by RTD with Sharma Angel Welfel, who we covered on Headlines a wee while ago. It's called The Well. 500,000 years in the future, an empty planet, a colony base which lost contact 15 days ago, and that's it. That's all I'm saying, says RTD. Sometimes there's so much PR and publicity, these episodes wear thin, and that's my fault. I love blabbing about them, but sometimes it's good to keep an episode quiet so you can come in for it unprepared. And believe me, nothing could prepare you for the terror that's about to be unleashed on the worst day of the Doctor's life. This episode is tough, it's weird, it's relentless, and both Sharma and I can promise you it's merciless. Welcome to Planet 6767, Pray to Leave. Well, at least that's different for him.
There is a rumour this could be a sequel to Midnight. I've heard rumours about that, but
yeah.
Hope not, because Midnight's a good episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it be.
Yeah.
They say it'll be merciless. There'll probably be like two deaths, and that'll be it. Yeah, something like that.
So far, I can tell from the chat that these episode previews are not setting your world on fire. Let's see if this one does as we move to episode 4, Lucky Day, written by Pete McTeague, directed by Peter Hoare. Back on Earth, Ruby Sunday is recovering from life with the Doctor and finds a new boyfriend. But when Conrad tries to live up to Ruby's ideals to become as brave as the Doctor, a world of danger opens up. For a long time, this episode was called Meanwhile, because we've all wondered what happens to the Doctor's companions back on Earth once the adventuring stops. We've seen the wonderful Sarah Jane Smith investigate alien goings on from her attic, and lots of old companions are now being conscripted into UNIT because they've got so much experience of events beyond this world. But Ruby is still so young. She's barely 20. She's still exploring her family and still working out what she wants to do in life. So it was a great delight to hand this episode over to Pete McTeague, such a great writer of the human heart, for him to explore what happens once the Doctor is gone. All that plus monsters, UNIT, Kate, Shirley, Gunk, helicopters, a creepy English village, and a glimpse of a lost Doctor and Ruby story too.
So this is the Ruby Sunday Adventures, then, is it?
This is the Ruby Sunday one, yeah.
Yeah, Ruby Sunday Adventures, yeah.
Yeah.
As he highlighting that,
Yeah.
it's an idea that's already been presented before.
Yeah, yeah.
73
Multiple
yards?
times.
Yeah. But I think it does remind me most recently of 73 yards, the Ruby with the character.
Yeah.
You know. But no, you're right. It has been, hasn't it? So, yeah.
And how many of you have
Marie
been
UK said
wondering
to us,
what's sorry. How many of his fans are always wondering what happens after the companion leaves? Do you ever have that thought? Do you ever think about that? No?
I have done in the past, especially when I was a kid. Occasionally,
yeah.
You know, what would happen? I'm probably stirred on by the Target novels as well, the companions of.
The one that got me was how Tegan got home. She had no money, but she's at the docks dressed the way she was dressed, but leave the rest to yourself.
I know, God, yeah. She was so lucky. She'd have been thrown away, wouldn't
Maybe
she?
she found some friendly seamen.
Oh, dear. It does make you think what happened there. I mean, she didn't have the number to phone her granddad that we saw in The Awakening.
Exactly, yeah.
We've got Josh H saying, can't be a sequel to Midnight, surely. He should be alone one of his better works, leave alone one of his better works. And Marie UK, I don't understand why anyone should be excited for a Ruby return. She's been gone 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Kess the Drone is saying, I've never wondered that. And Duncan, the Funky Evans, worst day in the Doctor's life. What about the War Games or Inferno or the Time War? Craig, hello, Craig Dunlop. How do you fight a living... Yeah. Craig Dunlop is saying to us, how do you fight a living cartoon? Use turpentine. It worked in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And belated hello, everyone. That's a good point, isn't it? Actually, I've forgotten about Roger Rabbit. All right, then. So that one's not scoring any points at the moment then either. So let's move on to the next episodes, which, of course, is Story and the Engine, episode 5, written by Anua Elms and directed by Makala McPherson. I'm not human, says the Doctor. I am an evolved life form. My body changes a lot. And sometimes this ancient Time Lord needs to rest, to find friends, to relax, to forget, and simply enjoy the telling of tales. One such sanctuary is Omo's palace. But when the TARDIS arrives, Omo seems to have a new master. Men have gone missing. Something vast and hungry is demanding to be fed. And the Doctor discovers a universe he never even guessed at before. And then we've got this story that we spoke about before. A while back, says RTD, I went to see the National Theatre to see Barbershop Chronicles by Inua Elms. I left thinking that man should write Doctor Who. I then discovered that Inua had been working on stories with my predecessor, Chris Chibnall. And if that's not enough, Ncuti Gatwa then came to me with a suggestion. Have you ever thought of using a writer called Inua Elms? It was meant to be, and I'm so proud to have helped this to the screen as Inua unveils a new world of riches, replete with gods, monsters, revenge, passion, and a very big spider indeed.
Is it this episode with the all black cast, isn't it? An all black crew, isn't it? I think.
Allegedly, I think it probably is. So we'll soon find out about that.
Yeah.
They're
and this is
like
kind of based on African African kind of myths and legends and stuff, is it? Something like that? Yeah.
No idea. No idea.
Is it in Lagos or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, because Ncuti said there was no in Lagos, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Again, nobody in the chat seems to be remotely interested at all. The well I've heard. Hang on. The well I've heard, says Pete Harrington, is supposed to be set 5,000 years in the future. I wonder how that will be realised. Well, cheaply, probably. Go on then.
I mean, that one does at least sound a little bit more interesting with, you know, gods, monsters, a giant spider. At least they're actually trying to explain that there's some peril to it rather than just, oh, this is the, you know, the worst day ever without, you know, actually mentioning why.
But
I've
I
got
think
this
it's set in a
feeling-
barber shop or something, isn't it? I think,
No, that's his play. That it says there in that that's the play Anua Ellam's roast.
Oh, right.
He
Okay,
wrote a
right,
different one, so he's done that
Right.
before. It's not in Doctor Who apparently.
Oh, right.
I don't know. Well, it might be, but it says that what we just read out there within play. It's not. R. John is saying the whole series sounds like a soap opera. Well, welcome to the last 20 years. Quite frankly. Kester Jones is saying Inuit Ellams is an activist. Yes. Yeah, he is. So it sounds to me like this will either be hit or miss, problematic or not problematic. Looking forward to discussing it here with you guys actually on that one. And Lex Kane's joining us. The story in the engine reminds me a bit like the movie Mortal Engines. That's just because of the story title. I think, Lex.
I'm going to predict that's
on
gonna
the
be
trailer,
highlight.
the visual do look very interesting, or at least somewhat interesting. I think is that the one we could have like the Is that the one that could have like the dinosaur?
No, that's later. It's one with the giant spider, I think.
Spider in space.
Yeah.
Oh right, okay. Because I remember some good visuals anyway in the trailer. They were worth, made it look at least somewhat interesting.
I'm going to predict that's going to be the 73 yards of the series. Not written by RTD, a bit different and possibly a bit more dramatic and scary than others. Certainly more so than the next one.
A lot of you are talking about this. Sunny Waffles is saying the story ad engine will be the best story. Okay. Nice to see you, Sunny. And we've got James Smee saying to us, well, it would be funny if story in the engine turns out to be the best one.
I think it might be. I think it might be.
Because they put it all into the Eurovision one, haven't they, for various reasons?
That'll be the best one, obviously.
Yeah. And Julianne is saying to us, it's the African folklore tale about the spider god Anansi who covets the world's stories. Right. Oh yeah, because that was Ncuti's idea as well, wasn't it? Remember when he came on board, he said he wanted something about this. Remember we talked about it here on Headlines.
Yeah.
So he got his way then, by the look of it.
At least that's actually a villain.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's a villain, and it fits in with the whole thing about gods and things.
Because it's Ncuti what Ncuti wants, we might actually see maybe 1% of acting potentially. So you would assume that he would put his heart and soul into this episode.
I did think Planet of the Spiders was quite creepy, says Arthur Daniels. Anything re-spiders. I had a photo from someone in the US who sent me a pic of them and stood in front of a tarantula. Did that make you freak? Did it, Arthur? It can do, actually. A friend of mine is terrified of spiders, honestly. He's a grown man. He's terrified of them. Dave Harding is saying to us, so far, I haven't heard anything that would make me regret my decision to drop Disney Plus. Now, that's the big thing, isn't it? This thing was supposed to bring people into paying for Disney Plus, not cancelling it and not, oh, what a shame. What a shame. You had one job, RTD. You messed it up. So we've got all that. That was, we're going on to episode 6. The Interstellar Song Contest, written by Juno Dawson, directed by Ben A. Williams. This is the one, it says. Rylan, songs, lizards, and 2 points. You probably think that you've got the measure of this episode. That's what the Doctor and Belinda think, as the TARDIS bounces them to Harmony Arena deep in outer space for the 803rd annual contest. But this is written by Juno Dawson, the best-selling fantasy novelist, and I'm telling you with absolute confidence that you're not ready for the shocks and surprises in store. This year, episodes will land on BBC iPlayer at 8 a.m. on Saturday, so I'd recommend staying offline all day if you want the raw experience of this on a Saturday night, because this story takes much bigger swings than any you are expecting. It's darker, wilder, and tougher than the title would suggest, and the world of Doctor Who will never be the same again. We've heard this so many times. It's so repetitive and boring. Come to get your comments on that in a second, because then we go to Wish World, episode 7, written by RTD, directed by Alex Sanjeev Pillai. Everyone get ready to rejoice, because the great day is coming, the most important date in history. The clock is ticking and everyone is preparing for a joyous tomorrow when the whole world will change forever. Here we go. It's season finale time with a great big 2-part story blasting the roof off anything we've made before. Welcome to a strange new world in which the old saying, there's many a slip twixt cup and lip, is gaining a terrifying new power. But what are the bone beasts? Why is Mrs. Flood hiding in the sky? What secrets do the dispossessed keep? And why is a mysterious message echoing across time and space saying, tables don't do that? Okay.
I'm hoping the Eurovision one gets nil point from us. I mean, when we vote for it, that'd be very funny for them, very ironic, don't you think?
That'd be hugely funny. I couldn't wait for that.
Yeah, like food. Yeah.
And is McCoy coming back in season 7 with all the kind of sayings and stuff? That's one of McCoy's, isn't it?
There's nobody interested in this at all on our show, including ourselves, really. These things, Lee Smith is saying to us, it's gibberish. Digital Pollution is saying, who is Mrs. Flood? You are about to find out if you are really, really interested.
Who cares?
Wow, says Robert Payne. Episode 7 sounds awful rubbish.
So it's got this phrase going through time and space, and this phrase is bad wolf. No, sorry, this phrase is tables don't do that. Yeah. He's repeating himself again, isn't he?
Yes, all through time and space. I mean, it was exciting the first time round. There's a message through time and space. That was exciting. But they even did that spin-off thing, didn't they, with that awful woman that nobody bought? What's it called? See, nobody even remembers now. It wasn't the victorious one. It was one that came after with that awful woman, remember? The spin-off thing. Come on, the merchandise thing with the books. And
Doomsday.
Whatever it was.
The comedian lady, Suze Keltner woman. Yeah.
Legion of James saying to us here, I think RTD is more or less confirming Mr. Dawson's episode is going to be offensively homophobic and Mrs. Flood is Mary Poppins. Marie UK is saying, I don't understand a word of it. Richard, what you're saying to us, hello Richard Brooks, the world of Doctor Who rather than the world of the Doctor will never be the same. I smell the stench of propaganda from a homophobe. Probably, to be honest. To answer all these questions, I don't know and I don't care, says Bill Lowry. And Shelley Ingalls with us. JT, I had it reported that Disney is buying it and wanting to reboot it without RTD and wokeness. Probably they'll want to listen, I'm going to say this now. There is no way the BBC is going to allow anybody to buy Doctor Who. It's a BBC property. All these things, with respect, that are coming from American fans. It's British. Get over it. There is no way the BBC is going to let one of its crown jewel programmes be sold flat out. They've got nothing more to do with. That's not going to happen.
If they did buy, I hope they put it straight in the bin and don't do any more episodes.
Can you imagine? The BBC doesn't do that, though. You know, they would keep it going because they know they've got something there, as we've said before. It's just unfortunate that it's just been mishandled. And as I said earlier on the show, I feel for BBC Studios to an extent because they've trusted their own people. And this thing could make money if it's right.
They should have read the scripts, I think, don't you?
Should have just read the room. Yeah. Anybody could have told them the path they were going down was wrong. Anybody. But they made a deliberate choice to go that way. You reap what you sow.
It's sad days, isn't it? Sad days. It's sad days. Let's see. You know, we'll all be waiting to see what they decide to do and when in the future after this nonsense. But I think the damage is really done here. Episode 8 then is, of course, The Reality War, written by Russell T Davies, directed by Alex Sanjeev Palal. This is, according to RTD, the devastating climax. Strands that have drawn across seasons and centuries now pull together. It's the word seasons, plural. Tight as a noose, as legends converge for battle, our brave, battered, beaten Doctor stands alone and helpless against the unholy Trinity. Surely this is the end, unless... ...
And nothing will be explained. ...
Unholy Trinity. Is he gonna try and it could be a religious, like, undertone of religious mockery, probably.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, it's obvious that Mrs. Flood is part of that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I hope they're not going to do the Andrew Cartmel thing and have the Unholy Trinity is like Rassel and Omega and the Doctor and all that kind of nonsense. I bet it's that. Yeah.
We might have already had 2 of the Trinity. I think that might be what the point is, that you've had the toy maker, Sutek, and then hit the third.
Oh no, Maestro's coming back, isn't he? Oh no.
Oh yeah, forgot about Maestro. Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. We've got here Arthur Daniels is saying it's called under license, JT, but I agree it will not overrule certain rights as they are inherently British. The BBC's not going to sell it. It's not going to. It's made a fortune off Doctor Who over the last 60 years now. Over 60 years, it's not going to let it go, and all that potential going to an American No, it's not going to happen.
Well, maybe Disney's after their money back, and that's the only way they can afford to pay off the debt.
Yeah, possibly. That's what's happened with the rundown in this week's Radio Times, everybody. There's also this from their Saturday. Again, it's the usual picture. There's a playful retro look to the debut of new companion Belinda Chandra as the rocket on which she's been stowed following a robot kidnap could almost be the one upon which Tintin travels to the moon, while the planet she's destined for has shades of the 1980 Flash Gordon movie to it. Oh, Brian Bless is in it. Not that Belinda has the mental space to clock such aesthetics, what with her having been rudely ripped away from her life on Earth as a nurse. But luckily, the Doctor is on hand, hopefully both to rescue her and repel a revolution by some fearsome automatons. Such as the zero-sum setup to an opening episode that's a rattling but rocky ride. There are moments of invention, but the humour is a little misjudged. In an early scene, the Doctor inadvertently causes a hospital blackout, but the fate of patients is left unclear, and some pertinent real-life concerns are merely surfed onto the surface. The plot. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
And
I remember seeing that clip. Was it last year on the Christmas Unleashed? And it's so irresponsible. The Doctor causes a power cut in a hospital. Duh. Yeah.
And then it's on, and then they're saying it's not resolved. He doesn't switch the light back on, as it were.
Yeah.
This is what the BBC Radio the Radio Times showed for their entry into the daily listings. As you can see, new series 1 of 8, series 15. Okay.
They can't make up their minds on this, can they? Let's be honest.
No. There's the cast list there for you as well. But there you go. And there it is, the Thursday, 2:20 a.m. on BBC Two repeat for the signed. That's terrible, isn't it? If you need signed repeats, you've got to stay up till 2:20.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Come on, it's the modern day. And you lot, you virtual signal and not in entertainment, you should know better. Why is there no option now? Because they got rid of the red button, didn't they? Why is there no option for people to say, I'll have it subtitled? They used to be able to do it CFAX back in the day, for crying out loud. Why can't they do it now with all the technology now?
You're always aware if you're up that late, you're up too late when the signing person's on. You know what I mean? You got your bed, you know.
That's terrible, isn't it? If you got to do it, can you record that?
I'm sure you can. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. But still, I think it's still terrible. Lex, thank you for your super chat. Question for the panel. If we got very good writers to make a UK big screen adventure for reboot, Doctor Who going back to roots for fellow Time Lord. What's your question? If we got very good writers to make a UK big screen adventure for reboot, are you asking if we go and see it, Lex? No.
I'd wait for the DVD release.
I think they've struggled to get really good writers at the moment. It's a toxic brand. Nobody with any kind of like up and coming career or currently high flying career is going to want to pin their colours to that mast. It's career suicide.
It's tainted, isn't it? And that's the problem.
Yeah, totally.
It needs a long time of that. Yeah, tainted, getting washed away for anybody who decent caliber. Yeah.
I think the days where this thing was to get a film has been and gone. I really do, Lex. Yeah. I think it should have been around the 50th anniversary.
Watched that, didn't he?
Yeah. And I think it should have been then, or at least around about the Matt Smith Capaldi time. I don't think it's going to when the show was big.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, even in the Tennant era was the time you could have made a film because people would have gone to it because he was big in his first round, so and popular as well. So I think it's gone. I
remember how many articles back in 2012, 2013 there were around, or rumors around Doctor Who movie, and there were a lot of people that wanted it. I guess you could say the 50th in a way was a bit like Doctor Who movie because they did show it across cinema and stuff, but it definitely wasn't a Doctor Who movie in terms of the actual episode itself. But yeah, I agree. I think it would have been good if they had done it. Would have been interesting, but yeah.
I mean, there's actually been millions of abandoned film projects ever since 1975. Constantly.
Yeah. And you know what? As well, the scripts were terrible. The plots were terrible. Yeah. Absolutely awful for Doctor Who fans to have sat through. Americanized as well, mixing them with Indiana Jones and whatever the flavor of the day was, i.e. the X-Files.
Yeah.
We've got Badger 70 joining us. Hello, Badger 70. A menagerie of incompetence. And you're all remembering, well, not all of you, but some of you are remembering the Oracle, which was ITV, of course. It was CFAX on the BBC, but it always did seem to be 888 for the page, doesn't it? Richard Brooks is saying, Nicholas Briggs has a monopoly on voices. Are there no other actors who could voice these robots? Oh, it's jobs for the boys' side. Yeah, because here he is with the voices of the robots in tomorrow's episode.
And he'll be doing, I think, if the Flinks is back, he'll be doing that again. Remember that really bizarre creature?
Oh, that's him. I forgot about that.
That was him as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'd forgotten all about that thing in Eunice.
Yeah.
Did we see it last year?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the two-parter, the end by Sutek, I think he was in that. I think. I vaguely remember. Yeah.
Oh dear. Will you see us live every Sunday? Doing that again, everybody, going slowly down as we're all like, ugh.
And that's just our posture. Yeah.
Yeah. It was quite funny. Anyway, there's the previews from the Radio Times. Thank you to them. Thank you to RTD for all the efforts on that. So that's it there. As part of the new series reviews here on Who's Views, of course, we are going to be doing your favourite. We will every week be doing scores on the TARDIS doors. And as part of that, let's just remind you of what happened last year. Out of 50, because there were then 5 of us on the panel, Space Babies got 3.5 out of 50. The Devil's Board got 4.5. Boom got 21. 73 Yards got 29. Dot and Bubble got 19. Rouge got 6. The Legende of Ruby Sunday got 25. The Empire of Death got 6. And Joy to the World got 5. Awful marks. Let's see what's going to happen with season 2 from tomorrow onwards. So scores on the TARDIS doors will be part of it. We've also got a brand new feature coming up, which we're starting right now. How many times is Gatwa going to cry per episode? Emilio, that's the noise that you're going to have to get.
It's going to be good training for me. There you go.
Yeah, so you guys in the chat can also play this as well. Tomorrow, the Robot Revolution. How many times do you think he's going to cry in it? And do you think it's going to make up the big story? Go on then, Paul. How many times do you think he's going to cry tomorrow?
How many times? At least 5 times, I'd imagine. Yeah, because I've seen it in the trailer already. So
have you?
Yeah. So it must. I'm going to say 5 times. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send my pencils back if I'm wrong. I promise. Yeah.
Hello, Bunty 4077, the Holy Trinity, white, hetero, and male. Nice to see you. Good for joining you. Yes, okay then. Third Doctor Ian.
That should have the secondary tagline "Tears of a Clown," really, shouldn't it? I think he'll ease us into his tears. So I would say twice.
Oh, okay. Marie UK is saying 5. Daniel is saying 7. Peter Harrington's given us lots of those emoji things there. Just Jordan is saying at least once per episode, at least. Amelia, what are you going to go for?
I agree with Ian. I think we're going to be leaned into it. So I was going to say 2, but just to be just have a different answer, I'll go with just the 1 for this week.
I'd have broken a pencil in half with you, Emilio.
He's going to peak, and that's going to cause you regeneration, like I said at the end.
I didn't mention pencils for this thing. No, hang on a minute. Got a budget. Bedouin, what about you?
I think as this is the series opener, he's going to be a strong and robust character and not cry at all in this episode.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Belinda might, but I don't think he will.
What am I in? Okay. A lot of you there were saying...
agent. Yeah,
Frankie's saying I'm going 10. Problem being saying twice because it needs to build up during the course of the run. Sheila B is saying 4 times. Oh, wow. Digital Pollution, I'll put a 5 on twice. The pool's open, says Peter Bentman Fansite with 10. John's saying I don't care. Josh H is saying twice. You'll need to space them out over the series. Oh dear. I reckon 3, says Paul Schlefter. Can we go for 10? You can go for as many times as you like to, I'll tell you. Legion of James, 3, and 1 long emotive stare with a lip quiver. 8 times, says Lex. I won't be watching, but I'm guessing 6, says Richard. Stephen Braddock's going for 3. Kess is saying once, all the way through. He'll cry as he regenerates, says Frankie Stanager. Yeah.
We won't.
Killbot saying 4 times, just once, but lots of snot, says John Roberts. Fabulous. Remember that puppet that used to all that? What was he called? Gilbert. Julianne, 3 lots of tears. And Robert Payne saying, bring your own pencil. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. I'm going to say he's going to cry once in tomorrow's episode, I think. But there you are. We'll have a look at that when we come back on Sunday. Solid 0 for something that thrives on change. RTD really tries to go into the same river twice. We all need to change from time to time. He really goes Charlie Brooker now, says the medium Swolgo, X small. That's funny. I like that. That's great. Oh, thank you very much, everybody. But there we go. So let's see. So just remember, when you're playing the game, well, when you're watching the episode, if you are watching the episode, play the crying game. Write down how many times he cries, and we'll come back on the Sunday review, and then we'll all see, okay, how many times did he cry? That's what we're going to be doing. As part of our review shows, of course, we're going to be doing all the usual stuff. We've got loads of episodes coming up. The Robot Revolution, Lux, The Well, Lucky Day, The Story in the Engine, The Interstellar Song Contest, Wish World, and The Reality War. As part of it, of course, we're also going to be playing that other game we know you love. It's the ratings game. Ratings game, of course, is where I ask the Hiatus panel and you guys in the chat to give me what you think the episode is going to get on the overnights only. We don't do the consolidated because it's rigged. It's the overnights only. So, I'm going to start with Third Doctor Ian, and I'm going to say to Third Doctor Ian, what overnight rating do you think Episode 1, The Robot Revolution, will get?
I think it will start higher than most episodes. Just because whilst all the publicity is crap, it's still publicity. I think it will get 2.55.
Very specific. But Third Doctor Ian specifically is saying 2.55. John Mason in the chat is saying to us, what's with the pencils? Do we have some constipated mathematicians? That's not about Adric at all, that particular one. I know it's because I've got a box of Who's Views pencils over there that I'm not sure what to do with yet because the postage is incredibly high. They were supposed to be for everybody who wanted one, but then the Royal Mail went, woo, let's charge £2.50 to post them. More expensive than it actually post the pencils cost. Daddy to be Emilio. Let's have your ratings for Doctor Who Series 2 Episode 1, The Robot Revolution.
I'm also again going to agree with Ian that I think it will probably first episode tend to be better in terms of the ratings and it tends to go downhill from there. So I'll probably go 2.77 million.
Again, a very specific answer. Very strange. With Emilio, Time Lord Victorious Daddy to Be, is looking at 2.77. But we are ratings analysis expert here on Who's Views, the channel.
No pressure.
Indeed. I mean,
what do you think this will get? Bearing in mind that you will have to justify your rating in next week's show.
Yes, I will, won't I? So I mean, I won't be watching these episodes. I've no interest. I don't care. But what I am interested in is seeing where the numbers go. Having tracked them all last year, I've already started working on stuff for next week when we have the first overnight number, and we're going to make some interesting comparisons with what Gladiators has done, because that is in the second season on the BBC, and those viewing figures have gone down in terms of raw numbers. So we'll talk a little bit about that in our first ratings episode next week. But it is the Gladiators final, and I think Doctor Who will carry over a few viewers from that. So I'm going to go with a overnight of 2.45 million.
2.45 million,
which is above the average for last year. So I see that deteriorating as we go through.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it possibly won't be after tomorrow. Just Jordan in the chat is saying, can we guess how many times we'll cry whilst watching? Yes, you can. You absolutely can.
The whole time.
The whole time, yeah.
Depends on how much alcohol I drink. There you go.
Steady on, you have a show to do on the Sunday. Thank you for that, Bedweir, who has said 2.45. And Paul, what's your ratings game prediction?
Well, as I've found, I'm not very good at this, but I'm really impressed by the optimism of everyone else that will get over 2 million, I have to say. I'm going to say, and I'm going to be completely wrong as always, 1.7.
Ooh. Paul is jumping in at the deep end, desperately trying to get a pencil from Who's Views by saying he reckons it's going to go 1.7.
For context, Doctor Who has never had an overnight lower than 2 million.
Yet.
So that would be quite a momentous occurrence.
Yeah.
When it occurs in this series.
When it occurs, we will be here to talk about it, of course, everybody. It's going to occur, I'm absolutely sure.
It's coming.
From my point of view, I am going to give this a very healthy score, I think, for episode 1, simply because it is episode 1. I just wish I knew when and how the figure dies down. What particular time? Will it be halfway through or 10 minutes through? But I'm going to say that this is going to get 2.1.
Just 2.1 or 2.1 million.
Is that nearly
2.1 million, I'll say. 2.1 million. Loads of you in the chat, thank you so much. You've all remembered what we're doing here. And I'm very, very pleased about that. I'm very proud of you all. Because Lex Kane is saying 1.2. Benign Crinoid, 2.3. Frankie, less than 2. Lee Smith, less than 2. Pete Harrington, 1.89. Wow. Matt, the Silent Wee Music King, is saying 2.5 million, and then it goes down. PTA, 3.1. That's really big. That's really healthy, PTA. How generous of you. As is Anthony Parkinson with 3 million. 2.9, says Daniel. Legion of James is saying 1.8. 2.6 from John Mason. And Paul Schlechter is saying, I'm being generous, and saying 3 million. You guys are. You're being very, very generous. Bill Lowry is saying 3. Robert's saying 2.9. Richard Brooks, 2.3 million. Arthur Daniels is saying to us, I want to see the Rani doing a Lulu. Would take that impression as she struts into Torch their universe, light my fire. Kinky.
She's going to come back disguised as Mel, isn't she? We talked about that already.
Yeah.
To add some additional context, the only drama that got over 3 million last week was Beyond Paradise. Nothing else got over 3 million.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah.
Cara Hughes.
I'm slightly regretting my figure now because I just looked at what face we've got.
Yes, well, tough titty, it's down on the pad.
Yeah, stick to your guns.
That was
Cara Hughes
6 million. So by default, given the way the series ended, you would imagine it would be less than 2.6.
You said 2.77.
I know. Well, that's it. I've stuck my whole.
Well, George the World got 7 million, isn't that right, Bedweir?
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah.
1.3 million from Cara Hughes. John Roberts is saying 1.25. Woodhouse 122, 1.95. 1.9 from Farsight. Sheila B in the Devotions, 2.8. We've all learnt here, haven't we? Duncan, the Funky Evans, 2.01. Rose Kirby is saying to us, I nearly forgot about the ratings game. I'll give it 2.7. Frankie Staniger saying 2.1. Jock Cartwright, 2 million on the nose. Paul Centerford, I predict episode 1 will get about 1.5 million views. 2.75 from Shelley Engel. 2.63 from Just Jordan. Very specific ones there. Thanks, guys. Stephen Braddock, 1.9 million. As it's 21 degrees and it's a sunny Saturday. That's always a play. That's always if it's a big Saturday, we don't stay in here on the weekend.
It's going to be lovely tomorrow, apparently. Yeah.
I mean, Americans don't understand that, but if it's sunny and it's the weekend, we do not watch the telly. We go out. 2.4 million, says Marie UK. Kester Joan is saying half as many as Britain's Got Talent on ITV at the same time.
Well, Britain's Got Talent isn't really setting the world alight in terms of its ratings. That's getting under 4 million viewers.
Yeah,
that's still better than Doctor Who, though, isn't it?
Yes, we'll soon find out. We've got here 2.2 million from our Julianne, and Craig Dunlop is saying to us, good weather predicted 1.6. St. Rosie Mead, hello, 2.05. Whoopie Doodle Doo, it's Scott Andrew Brass, 15 plus, Russell T Davis, and 2 angry lesbians and a man in a dress. Yep. Neville is saying to us it will just break 2 million, I think. Arthur Daniels, look, the first episode is going to attract those who are curious, so the figures are not going to represent the rest.
They can't be curious anymore, surely.
I don't think they are, Arthur. He's going on to say, however, the weather and what's on, including Whose Views, I reckon low, 4 million. That's high. That's high. That is really high for Doctor Who today. Steve Thompson, hello to you, 3.1. It's downhill thereafter. Tim Kins, episode 1 will get in all the Christopher Marlowe fans, so 1.98. You reckon? That's funny. What else? Oh, Paul Schlafter.
Highest overnight last year was 2.62.
There we go. Paul Schlafter saying, God, long gone are the days when you pretty much guaranteed 7, 8 or 9 million. The show really is done. It's sad times. And Bedouin is a true Time Lord of rating figures, says Lex. Isn't he just? Kester Jones is then saying 2.1. Watkin, no, you're not too late. I reckon it will get 1.8 million viewers. Nice to see you, Watkin. 1.8 million from there. We've got G35. Nice to see you. 3.2 million. And 10.4 million, says Josh H. The country has suddenly seen the light.
No, they have been adolescents on Netflix.
The country has seen the shite.
Oh dear. Hello, Village Pig. How are you? And the Lady Knightsbridge is back with us, everybody. Hello, Lady Knightsbridge. Only 2.1 million. The show is about as popular as a Birmingham bin man at the moment. Oh, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, Lady Knightsbridge. 1.5 million from the Peter Venkman fan site. 2.4 million from John. Look, be prepared on Sunday for long shows, everybody, as we do this every week for 8 weeks. Douglas Smith, 2.65 million. Badger 70. I specifically want Dawson's episode to be the first to dip below 1 million. It might be the first to get none. Nothing.
None.
If it's not shown on BBC. And we will not be looking, imagine that, Badger, we will not be looking at the iPlayer reviews, the iPlayer things. We will review the overnights. So we could be saying on the show, nobody watched that bugger last night.
It'll stay below 1 million even after the 87-day consolidated reviewed figures as well.
It might get about 3 or 4 then. Yeah.
Literally just 3 or 4.
Literally 3 or 4, yeah.
Even if they do get less than 2 million, they'll still give themselves a pat on the back for a job well done, says Marie UK. And Chris Graham is saying to us, I think it might get big ratings this season as the fans fear it's the last. No, not. I disagree with you respectfully there, Chris. Fans like us are only watching it because we're having a laugh at it through this show. But decent fans, proper fans, have gone. They have got, and they're not going to tune in because this is probably the last series of Doctor Who. And I also say that for my age group because we've been there before.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not as het up or frightened about this thing going. 3 million from Glenn Piper. Thank you, Glenn. Philip, 2.345 million. Paul Rose, 1.9 million. Any more for any more, everybody? 1.5 million for Mark Greaves. And Lady of Traken, hello, lovely. How are you? 2.9 million. Nice to see you. Marjorie, 0.89 million.
Oh, we can only wish.
That one on the ring report. Wow. Bob Sherwood, good to see you. 2.37. Mark Jones, 1.1 million. Gosh, it says something the way we're doing this, doesn't it? We've all lost faith in this. SG is with us saying, I'll go with 2 million, though I've no idea. My phone says it'll be 19 degrees tomorrow. Any more for any more in the chat from you all, everybody? Just Jordan wants to know, Bedweir, how do you retain all these figures?
I've lots of pieces of paper and tabs open.
The brain the size of a planet. We have one from Robert Thomas who says it's a generous 3.9.
3.9. Oh, there you are. Hello, Robert. Robert Payne there saying, I hope Bedweir is calculating the mean value for all these guesses. Yeah, we'll put him to the test. And Robert Thomas, there you are. Hello, Robert. A generous 3.9, leaving lots of TARDIS pool diving room. Great. Chris Graham is saying we'll agree to disagree. Yes, we will. But don't be surprised if I go, no, I was right and you were wrong in a few weeks' time. But then you could do that to me as well. But I don't think I don't know. But we'll agree to disagree at the moment, Chris. I'll just write that down. Agreeing. Okay. Any more for any more, everybody? On the racing scale. I'm going to call it there, I think.
We could be really surprised, and it could turn out to have suddenly found an audience. All those listeners to Radio 1 Breakfast Show will tune in. People that watch the one show, who knows? It might go big, and I doubt it, and I fear, as we talked about earlier, that those in charge are not predicting that it will do this. But you never know. The fact that it's on after the Gladiators final, if it had been the FA Cup final, then they might have done even better. But we shall wait and see. It's going to be really, really interesting because I do think this is the year where we see Doctor Who have its lowest figures ever.
We'll soon say because it all kicks off tomorrow. Bob Sherwood is saying, hi, JT and co. I've just reevaluated 3.89 million. Oh, really? Oh, really? And Pete Harrington is saying to us, just one viewer will watch. It's my cat, Tibby. Colours and movement. My pussy loves it.
Mrs. Slocum. Yeah.
Oh, we've got any more there from you all? I'm going to call it now for the ratings game. Thank you very much, everybody. So, yes, that is it for the ratings game. We will soon know, won't we? Because we're going to be talking about it in Whose Views Reviews. Crikey, yes. And it's all coming up for you. Wow, thank you all for joining us this evening. There has been an awful lot going on over the last few days, hasn't there, with the headlines here? And I just wanted to point out that a lot of the previews came through. The ones you will be aware of as well with this one. This was a big one from in the week with the Telegraph. Doctor Who Season 2 review. A great intro for the new companion, but with a preachy subtext. 3 out of 5 stars, as Varada Setu makes a strong first impression as Belinda Chandra in a tale mixing high sci-fi with toxic masculinity. To get to the point of the article here, it says here, the sci-fi favourite returns with an episode full of rockets, ray guns and killer robots, but an underlying theme of toxic masculinity. The Telegraph then says, welcome to the planet of the, I'm not sure, guys, if I can say that word. I'm going to check. Location but presumably somewhere in the manosphere. It's the family-friendly slot that makes the lurch into gender politics tonally jarring. A hard-hitting Netflix drama is one thing, but early evening entertainment is another. One can imagine young viewers turning to their parents and asking what species these scary-sounding I-word are, and whether coercive control is a bit like a remote control. Good luck answering those grown-ups. This stab at satire is daft, dumb, and clumsily done.
Wow.
Whoa. Yeah, that's going to find an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I said 1.7 million. That's all I'm saying.
I know, it's worrying. It's worrying, isn't it, everybody? It is really, really worrying.
Mm.
Well, yeah, I mean, here we go, everybody. What can I say? Oh, I hope you've subscribed because, well, you know where we're going next, don't you? Series 2 of RTD Disney Who, Dr. Woke, Dr. DEI, whatever you want to call it, starts tomorrow on BBC iPlayer at 8 o'clock in the morning and at 6:40 on BBC One with the Robot Revolution. We will be back here on the channel on Sunday live with the new series of Who's Views Reviews as the Whotastic panel, myself and all of you talk about episode 1. We'll have scores on the TARDIS doors, the ratings game, and yes, my Uncle Sydney will be back here with the Wokeometer. Yes, he's put a butterbean whip and some Ready Breck in it, so it should be fine, everybody.
It'll be very
Nobody panic.
stunty, I'm sure. Yeah.
It'll be very stunty indeed. Oh, listen, this has been a great show, everybody. Guys, are you all set for this?
No.
No, not at all. JP, we have one more super chat from Lex Kane.
Oh, really? Let me see if I can find it then. Thank
go
you for
with
pointing
that.
this out. There you go. Marie UK was just saying to us there, toxic masculinity, or does he just mean masculinity? It's something that men have been asking since all this nonsense started around about 2020, isn't it, really? Or wherever it was, 2017. Lex Kane, thank you for your super chat. Could RTD be season finale villain for Gatwa Who? I think he's been a season finale villain for quite a while, personally, Rex. Well, I don't know, but... Yes, is the answer, isn't it, really? But thank you for that. G35 is saying, I can't decide whether to watch it out of morbid curiosity or not. Well, if you do, come and join us with your view, G35, live at 8 o'clock on Sunday here on the channel. If you don't, come and join us anyway, because we will be here full of vim and vigour in a very British way with our review of the Robot Revolution.
Such a catchy title, isn't it?
Mm. Very inventive, very creative.
Yeah, it's really
so exciting.
Yeah, lots of you saying here. Thank you. Sheila B is saying my cat prefers Who's Views, quite rightly. Oh, and you just reminded me, I do have the proof. She sent me a picture of her cat watching us. I must put them into a show because I've got a couple. Who else was it? Was it Graham as well? Somebody else sent me a picture. I've got them. I'll have to look them up. I'm sorry, but the emails, I'm terrible, aren't I? It takes me ages to get back to them, but there we go. Matt the Silent Wee Music King is saying toxic masculinity. Thanks for trying to alienate me even more, RTD.
Yeah.
I mean, that Telegraph article really hits it, doesn't it, really? It just says, look, bang, this is what it's about. So we are prepared for the messages. There's going to be one, Copyright Critical Drinker. There's going to be one every week, isn't there, in this thing as it goes along. SG is saying to us, the first episode could be worse than the friggin' Space Babies.
Can you imagine?
How could that be possible?
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
You can see we're so enthusiastic by this, can't you? And Whoopie Doodle Doo, it's Scott Andrew Brass is saying, yay, toxic masculinity. Watkin, I can't wait to see the overnight viewing figures. Neither can I. I'm so excited. It looks like football studs right now, I tell you. Very, very exciting. And here's the sort of the comment I like as well. This is a really nice one from Paul Schlafter. Can I change my rating? No, you can't. We've got Paul Stantiford here with toxic masculinity, the I word, and gender politics. What else could you possibly ask for in Doctor Who? Oh gosh, lots of you. Yeah, you've all got the gist of what's coming up, haven't you? I think we all have, and I think we all have since the last set. You know.
Yeah.
Oh goodness me, Legion.
It's time to attend the Church of RTD to have our sermon every Sunday. Or Saturday. Every Saturday.
Yeah. Just Jordan is saying to us, what children? I mean, what families are watching this? Dad won't watch it with me. Yeah, because your dad's sensible. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about it as well is that, you know, we've got Who viewers that are watching it before the children to see if it's suitable for the children. And I think that's terribly sad because, as I said before on the show, Doctor Who used to be a show that you could leave the kids to watch, especially in our day, and not be worried about them being, you know, do you know what I mean? It was a safe program.
Yeah.
Pete Harrington is saying, do you have a cryometer? Not as such. We're going to do the crying game instead because there's so much going on in our shows. We haven't got time for much more, really. Flying Car 100. Hello, welcome. I am not going to watch it. Well, please come and get in touch with us on the Wednesday. Come and watch us because we'll tell you what you're not missing, quite frankly, because I can't see you missing much, to be honest. Stephen Braddock, of course, Stephen, it was your cat. Of course it was. I'll have to get them into the show at some point. And Digital Pollution is saying to us, I'm going to end up watching this. And I guess just so I know what you'll all be ripping into.
I'm sure you'll get the gist.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Matt said he sent stuff too. Yes, I'm going to be using some of your stuff in a future show, I can tell you. And Julianne is saying, I'm still not watching the show, but only the reviews on Who's Views. That's the correct answer, Julianne.
yay.
Honestly. 9 out of 10 cats prefer Who's Views. What? And Watkin is saying, I'm ready to touch grass tomorrow, especially if the weather is as good as it hasn't been this week. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend that will affect the performance of Doctor Who. We'll have to explain more of that next time. From the third Doctor, Emilio, Bedwyr and Paul. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this launch of our brand new series as we get into this.
You're welcome. Can I say one thing?
Go on.
Can I say good luck, everyone? Take yourselves. And all the best when you go for the top. Okay.
Here we go then. Here we go then, everybody. It's back tomorrow. We're back Sunday, live at 8. You can also catch live at 6 with me, the Preempt warm-up show. If you want, come and see what I'll probably have a fit live.
Might you have things to say, JT?
And then we'll be joining the Whotastic panel, of course, with all their views as well as yours. Scores on the TARDIS doors, the Crying Game, my Uncle Sydney and the Wokeometer, and much, much more as we review this. Don't forget, everybody, if it's good, we'll be here to say so. And I'll also be doing a Cilla Black impression of a surprise if it is. Until we see you, please make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. If you're new to us, please subscribe to the channel. Come and join us over these 8 weeks of hell, 8 weeks of television as we review them all. Come and join us. We've got lots to talk about and lots more to come. I think we've just at the very tip of the iceberg of the news that's going to be breaking. Headlines will be here. As ever, don't forget, it's our views, it's your views, it's Hugh's views. From all of us, thank you for joining us. What a show. We will be seeing you very soon. Oh, fabulous, everybody. Great show. Good night, everybody. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right, everyone.